And we are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Happy Tuesday. Kevin doing the wave.
That's
left
right.
over from Sunday.
For all of us.
So yeah, super happy to be back. Happy Tuesday, everybody in the chat. Thank you guys so much for coming out this week. Excited to get into this week's session. We do have our usual weekly giveaway. We'll start things off on the high note there. Last week we gave away one of those awesome dice trays that I was able to 3D print. This week we're back to sets of dice. So I've got a couple of sets of dice left over. We've got some really nice ones here, two kind of on the opposite ends of the spectrum. First set here is a very nice purple and kind of a teal blue with gold numbering. Really awesome. And then the other one is my go-to, which I'm surprised no one has taken yet, because I think they're so freaking awesome. These really nice, like, bright pink, and then they've got, like, a metallic white, and then they've got white lettering on them as well. So what we'll be doing for that giveaway is it's going to happen at our break. Usually happens about 2 hours or so into the stream. We are going a little bit live earlier today because why not, right? It's sunny outside. It's still COVID, so we wanted to get things started a little quicker. So we'll be doing that during our break. And essentially, as long as you're here in the chat, we'll do a keyword giveaway. You'll just enter that keyword into the chat, and that will allow you to then be entered to win one of these fantastic prizes. You'll get your choice of which set of dice you want, of course. Kevin, do you want to plug what you did over the weekend and what your upcoming stuff is?
Oh, we did the first of the new Dicecream one-shots. It went really well. 6-part session for the Prince of Frost saga with TikTokers, D&D creators. It was really good. Had a lot of fun. We were able to end it with this kind of Avengers Endgame shot where I had, like, there's 3 groups involved, and I had the other 2 groups come in at the last second and go on screen together to back up them against a BBG. It was really cool. But other than that, we're doing another giveaway on our Instagram to give away one of these gelatinous cube bugbear bubble soaps that has free dice inside. They're really neat and they smell great. So if you want one of them, go to Instagram and enter the giveaway. Yeah.
Also say hi to Ivy in the chat.
Hi, Ivy.
Awesome. Cool. So check out our Instagram for that. We've got another giveaway for one of those awesome gelatinous cube things. The soap smells amazing. It's what we all need right now anyway. So why not get a free set of dice once you're done cleaning off yourself? Beautiful. Awesome. All right. So with that, I think we're good. Nothing else is going on. So we're going to go ahead and play our intro, and then we'll jump straight into tonight's episode with a nice little recap for Emmer since they missed last week, and then we'll jump into where we are in Undermountain. We'll see you guys back here in 1 minute. And we're back. So, I'm gonna go ahead and get my music all queued up here because I completely forgot about it.
Get that mood set.
So, last we had left off, the party having made their way to the village of Secomber, investigating a recent attack from some kind of devilish entities, came into contact with an entity that they now know is a blue Abishai, a devil cross dragon creature. Seems to reside within the Nine Hells and typically is an entity that is devoted towards the 5-headed dragon god Tiamat. However, upon researching, found that sometimes devil allegiances do switch if they find an entity more suited to their individual goals. From there, the group did a series of research pieces, finding out all kinds of information on an assortment of topics, everything from Firbolg culture and way of life to the plane of water, gates between planes, entities that exist on both the prime material plane and within the Nine Hells. And eventually from there, it spoke to Ryden Vorsk, the lieutenant of the Lord's Alliance residing within Waterdeep, where the information was told about the blue Achaidh creature, and an immediate check-in with everybody in Secomber was attempted, only to find out that the Lord's Alliance troops seemingly were wiped out. And in addition to that, the contact with the primary individual in Secomber was no longer available to be made. But through a scrying ritual, Leif was able to determine that the party's contact Amelior Amanita still did live, although was currently unconscious, and found out after some time, after a few hours, that Amelior came back to consciousness, was able to send a message off to Leif and let him know that Achaidh, as well as a series of other devils, ended up ransacking the entire village of Secomber, almost killing him, killing almost everybody else, except for the regular folk who seemed to have no real dog in the fight with the devils. And that there was a specific journal that had been taken from Amelior's tower, one that seemed to be very large interest to the devils. After that, the party decided to make their way, trying to get to Secomber as quickly as possible, as the Lord's Alliance seemed a little bit unhappy with the situation that had evolved. They decided to make their way into Undermountain, the city below the city of Waterdeep, where lawlessness tends to reign, but also powerful artifacts, powerful items, powerful creatures tend to reside. Making their way there, they bartered a deal with a half-elf named Jared to give them some kind of passage through Undermountain, essentially pointing them in a couple of directions, and eventually to a very old, decrepit, 400-plus-year-old wizard. And the wizard named, Wilfred. A series of conversations were had with Wilfred, some very interesting information coming to light given how old Wilfred was, how old Wilfred is, and some of the areas that he had lived in previously. And eventually a bargain was struck, where Wilfred would be teleporting the party to the city of Secomber in exchange for the return of his beloved cat, Lavender, which seemingly had been stolen by Amelior Amanitas, to add to his collection of felines. If the cat was unable to be obtained and then eventually returned to Wilfred, the group would instead make their way to the second level of Undermountain, which is where more of the dangerous entities and more unexplored areas exist, and instead find some kind of a large stone that Amelior had specifically requested be returned to him. So last we left off, the party had made their way to a small tavern, were imbibing a few drinks, waiting for Hope to arrive, coming down the well from the Yawning Portal tavern above, and eventually joining up with the group within the tavern. So, with all of that said, we pick up with everybody in the tavern, flagons in hand, trying to decide exactly where they would like to go next.
Well, I've never really been a fan of pale ales, but this one's pretty good.
I know.
So I says to him, this Triton over here is a real fella. And the Triton says, no, I'm not. I'm a fish.
It's been, So sorry, what's kind of, Jordy, if you don't mind, what's sort of the scene around us looking like?
Very dark, somber. Not a lot of people really being very uproarious with drinks or anything like that. It looks like the area that you've been led into is a little bit of a rough and tumble kind of what was around, but Jared seems relatively at home, kind of going up to the bar and ordering drinks without looking over his shoulder too much. It doesn't seem anywhere that is particularly unsafe, but isn't exactly where you would consider a nice establishment.
Okay, cool.
Do I notice any type of trophy for drinking champions?
Trophy, no, but you do see that there are a few people sitting at different tables, just kind of throwing drinks back and looking at each other pretty angrily across the bar.
Les, that seems like your scene right there.
seems like competition waiting to happen.
You should probably check that out.
I'll keep an eye on them and see how it goes down.
Do you want me to call them over? Do you want me to talk to them for you?
I don't know about that just yet. Let me suss it out for a little bit. Maybe I can walk over there. First impressions are very important when challenging people to drinking championships.
Because I saw that one over there looking at you funny.
What?
Yeah, they were looking at you real funny, Les.
Jordy, were they looking at me real funny?
Make a perception check.
Leif is checking his non-existent watch, like, oh my god, when is Hope getting here?
Natural 20.
Natural 20. You were looking around the room. You were looking for a fight. No one caught your gaze.
Ooh.
Nobody here
They looked at you funny, then they turned away because they were so disgusted at your lack of sobriety.
Nobody's got the cojones to look me dead in my triton eyes.
We can check.
And with a crash and a stumble, Hope walks into the bar and kind of like starts waving really enthusiastically at the group.
Hey, you're here! You made it back!
And like does like a little awkward shuffle dance like amongst like all of these groups of crowded tables, just like, hi.
Hey.
Loudly, I wish to say, Hope, the local drinking champion, has been waiting for you.
What?
Why, Lester Paul, you know.
I'm not the local drinking champion yet. We're figuring that out right now. Soon to be.
Oh, do I need to beat Les again? Is that what's happening?
Well, I think we need to beat one of these people over there. Well, hold on. Let's figure out who the top person is around here.
Well, I think it's Hope, Leslie.
I think they just showed up.
Do I need to beat Les again? Yeah, Les, I don't want to show you up right now. I'm just really happy to be back with everyone.
What better way to celebrate a friend's return than a friendly drinking competition?
Fantastic.
Maybe once you can catch me up on or we can make a decision and we can celebrate the drinking competition.
All right, I guess.
Has Jared come back with Hope?
Yeah, Jared was the one who brought Hope back because they would have no idea how to get to you guys without her.
Where we are.
Did you meet Bubba?
Oh my goodness, Bubba, I forgot about that.
So, Hope, when you were up in the yawning portal, the group had been down for long enough that Bubba was just coming off of the guard duty. Bubba is a very large half-orc, kind of carrying a kind of a crude, rusty spear as a weapon that guarded the entrance to the back room within the Yawning Portal Tavern, which is eventually leading to this very massive 15-foot wide well with a really rickety chair that you sit on as you descend 140 feet straight down into the area underneath Waterdeep.
Sounds pretty damn delightful.
Seemingly, the party took very kindly to the half-orc that said all of three things, but was named Bubba.
He had a presence about him. He just had a way,
cool.
you know?
Had a bunch of piercings. That was pretty cool.
Probably rode a motorcycle.
Yeah, I think I saw a motorcycle parked outside when
Yeah.
Sleepless
Me too.
jacket somewhere nearby, I'm sure.
I'm gonna lean over. I'm assuming Aluura and Elethe are sitting next to each other. Is that kind of lean over to that side of the table? Are we blending in well? This is kind of my first time being in an area like this, and you guys said you kind of knew how to conduct yourselves.
How'd you define well, Leif? Just
Well,
like adequately? No. Enjoyably? Yes.
I'll take that. That's better than most of the times in my life, so I'll take that. That's fair.
Yeah, it's pretty well said, Leif.
You know,
I'm gonna slowly back out of the conversation and go towards the bartender. You guys keep talking.
Fantastic.
I'll be right back.
Fantastic.
Cool.
And the bartender is a fairly burly-looking half-orc again, kind of similar build to Bubba, but like slightly larger muscles with a lot more scarring on the body, whereas Bubba was kind of clean-faced and clean body with a couple of tattoos and piercings. This one looks like he's been through some stuff.
Like how clean a body, Jordy.
Pretty surprisingly clean, we'll put it that way.
Sick.
You're more Bubba than Bubba. All right, well, my good orc, I'd like 2 big casks. Not casks, what am I talking about? Well, I could probably drink a cask. No, big giant cups of your finest mead. Gotta determine a little contest if you don't mind. We're gonna pick the drinking champion of this establishment. And I'm kind of saying that, kind of slurring my words a little bit because I've had a couple already.
Okay. And the half-orc just kind of behind the bar just... 3 silver. And then slams down 2 pretty hefty glass mugs onto the table. And they're both filled to the brim with kind of overflowing, really dark, mealy-looking mead. Yeah.
Thank you very kindly. Slap over the silver. Take the 2 mugs. Again, kind of looking over the competition, see if anyone else is engaging in any type of drinking.
Everyone seems to be ignoring you guys and kind of just going on about their day.
Yeah, right, fair enough. Walk back over the table. For when you're done catching up, we can get back to more pressing matters.
Elethe, you had your hand up?
I was gonna say, I don't want to speak for Amanda, but I think probably Elethe and Aluura would be like scoping for people in the cloaks.
The cloak that we recognize. Yeah.
If
Sure.
anybody comes going has anything close to what we saw or what I saw. I don't think Aluura actually saw it, but
Yeah, no, Aluura got it secondhand from you because you were the one with the dark vision that could see that far.
more familiar with the little scrap because she was the one kind of carrying that around.
Yeah, up close, Aluura would probably know better, but at a distance, you kind of, you would be the one to scope it out. And looking around the tavern, nobody's even wearing cloaks. Most of them are in kind of haphazard, scrap hide and leather armor of different kinds, some fairly rusty blades, a couple of decent spears here and there, but for the most part, they just seem to be there having drinks.
Okay.
That's fine. I'm just gonna keep a sharp eye out, and then I'm gonna also watch for anybody who seems to be paying too much attention to our group. So I'll be setting just a little bit separate, kind of being a little more surreptitious and just keeping a sharp eye out.
Okay.
I'll say throughout this, I'll probably be catching Hope up on everything that we learned.
Sure.
So essentially repeating the intro spiel that you gave.
With all the extra info that Wilfriend provided last week.
Yeah, Hope's just nodding along really eagerly and kind of just staring around wide-eyed at the bar, just kind of taking it all in, kind of feeling excited about what's happened.
All right.
Gang, are we thinking of heading out in a bit? Taking that.
I mean, I'm happy to move out, but it seems like Leslie sounded calling.
I'm ready to leave as soon as I've taken care of this important business.
Oh boy. Well, anyone want to go magic shopping?
I think that it was, time sensitive, us getting to Secomber. Was that not what we decided as a...
This won't take very long.
Okay. Les, what are you looking at?
Leslie?
I say that as an egging on to Hope.
Isn't that the last time this happened, it was a 3-hour kind of deal, right?
No. 3 hours? Good Lord.
Perhaps in game time?
Yeah, if you tuned in thinking that we were getting out of this bar today, you're sorely
You
wrong.
are very wrong.
We're not gonna go 4 rounds of shots like the last one. That was a bit of a drinking marathon. This is just to see who can finish their glass of mead the fastest.
Is this a fucking bottle episode? Are we gonna be stuck in this bar all night?
I have bad news for you, Kaylee.
Who stole my
Beach
pen?
in the Undermountain.
Okay, look.
Leslie, are you saying that you refuse to leave until we finish our drinks?
Sure.
There's got to be an initiative check on this drink off.
Can I try and sucker punch Les?
You certainly can. Go ahead and make an attack roll. So this will be an improvised attack, so you just add your strength. You don't get your dexterity or your proficiency with it.
Oh, I missed my box. So you said just add my strength?
Just add your strength, yeah.
I rolled a 6.
Okay, so with your strength, I think it's a +4, so that's a 10. So less, even in your slightly drunken state, having had a couple waiting for Hope to arrive, you kind of are holding out and looking dead in the face, and then you blink, and with that blink, you suddenly see a fist coming right at your face, and you immediately duck, and the fist just whoosh, goes right over your head.
Nice try. You have learned a lot of little secret maneuvers in your travels.
Secret maneuvers. Leslie, that was a punch.
Well, a very strategically placed punch. Come on, let's not play
In your
down the
face.
Yes, that's where punches go most of the time.
Sure.
So,
Sure, Leslie.
Les, I only was going to do that because I figured we'd be able to get you to leave sooner.
And then I headbutt her.
Okay.
Sadly, I missed.
Sadly, you're... what?
Sadly, I missed.
Oh, sadly you missed. Sorry, I missed that last word. Okay, so Les, go ahead and roll an attack roll. Same thing, just add your
Headbutt
strength.
someone with horns?
Yeah, it's gonna probably hurt me more than it hurts you.
It's dangerous.
This is the episode.
Just plus strength?
Yeah.
I rolled low as well. 9.
9. So you just kind of go for the headbutt and hope you kind of realize that Les has misjudged exactly how far away you are. So you don't even move. Les just kind of goes whack and slams his head onto the table and just staggers back. Unless you feel pretty accomplished, like you closed your eyes, you hit open the head. They have a really hard head.
God damn, what are you eating these days?
Les, I'm actually over here.
And you kind of reach up and rub your forehead and you pick a couple of splinters out of your forehead.
There's like 3 hopes sitting at the table right now.
And with this, the bartender and the people in the tavern are starting to pay attention to you, and you kind of get a, get him out of here.
We're going right now. And
I was on my way out. I'm halfway out
stand
the door.
up and try and sort of diffuse the situation best I can.
Yeah, and a couple of people at the table are like hands shifting towards their sides, essentially waiting for all of you to leave now at the direction of the bartender.
Oh, like flick a coin at the bartender and say, "Sorry, we're leaving."
And he just snatches it out of the air and then, on your way.
As we're leaving, I turn to whisper, and I don't know how quietly I actually am saying this to Leif, but I'm like, it worked.
Gotta do a little low 5 with them.
All right.
That was smart.
So you kind of you make your way out, and Jared is now just standing outside the tavern, and well, that sure could have gone a little bit better. Right.
Clearly you haven't hung around our party long enough, but that's fair.
Yeah, it's been all of 3
That was
hours.
pretty par for the course.
So it seemed like this was some kind of a direction. Do you want me to take you back to Wilfred, or what?
Does that work for you? I'll kind of turn to the group. Anything else anyone wants to do? Are we ready to travel?
Yeah, Undermountain's not going anywhere. So, but the health and safety of our friend might be.
After we steal his cat, probably not that much, but...
Okay. All right. So you make your way back down following Jared's lead, and eventually at the same door outside of Wilfred's house, the familiar knock that Jared made, and eventually Wilfred, you can hear the hobbling from the other side, and the familiar pink and purple light emanates around the door as the door opens, revealing the very clustered interior. And Wilfred at the door again just, you're back. Come to take me up on my deal, I see.
Yeah.
That we are.
Beautiful. Come in. And he gestures for everybody to step inside. And Jared at this point is like, I'll take my leave since you guys are heading off to Secomber. It's been a pleasure. If you need anything again,
appreciated.
Jared, before you go, I want to give him the other half of the money that we agreed upon.
Right. Thank you. Appreciate this. I assume you'll be able to make your way back from Secomber, so appreciate this and enjoy the trip.
Yeah, if you get a message that sounds like me just playing in your head, that probably is me. And you can respond to it. It's this cool thing I can do. So,
I'm just gonna stop. Please don't do that. That's not exactly something that I appreciate. People in my head.
It'll only be under the most serious of circumstances. I
Sense is important.
can't guarantee it.
Sure. Bye, and he just makes
Have
to
a
the
good
door
one.
and closes the door behind him on his way out.
Oh, shit, that didn't go well.
So now you're inside with Wilfred
Nothing
again.
does.
And the couple of spectral servants are kind of coming around, and different styles of food and platters of meat that are kind of being put out. And you kind of notice that the spectralness of them, they really are translucent. Like, you can actually kind of see through those servants. So you would get some kind of an imagination that they are conjurations of some kind, seemingly tied to the space.
Would you say this space we're in right now would be described as magnificent?
Yeah, potentially by somebody named Mordenkainen.
Fantastic. It's quite interesting. Cool.
Morty.
So with that, Wilfred pulls the contract out and lays it down on the table. And well, we have an accord then, I assume.
Yes.
We steal a cat, you get us to Secomber.
The other
Kind
way
of the
around,
other way
but yes.
mostly.
Right.
So, starting now.
I guess so.
Yes.
Do we need to, like, hold our breath or, like, tuck our knees into our chest before leaving?
I assume we signed the contract, Leslie.
Yes.
Oh.
Right. Jordy, does the contract say this anywhere in there? Like, I would have read over it.
Yeah, you and the doctor both did.
Yeah. Does it say anywhere on there the state that the cat needs to be in?
Alive. The cat
It
has
is
to be
your
returned
dick.
to
It
him
does.
alive.
Oh, we didn't discuss that though in the. Okay.
Well, and
okay.
that's why the
Kinda
alternate
makes sense.
option is that he wants his cat back alive so he can take care of the cat. If the cat isn't returned to him alive, then you have the secondary clause where you'll then go hunting for the
Never
stone. for
said
him.
alive in the last meeting we had.
Okay, we'll say that the under assumption is he wants his cat alive.
But is language in the contract?
You know what?
Aluura, I wasn't aware you studied law.
Okay. The contract would have stated alive. You also didn't specify specifically any condition, so it was alive.
we said we'd bring your cat back dead.
Shouldn't have said anything because then
I
we
specialize in this, but alright.
Only
could brought
dead,
back the-
not alive.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that.
So,
I'm very big into taxidermy.
Okay.
alrighty. So with that, the contract is signed, having all the terms ratified and agreed to. Very well. And he kind of crinkles it up a little bit, shoves it onto one of the bookcases that are beside the mantelpiece that he has, and then follow me. And he leads you into what looks
Where's
like
our copy?
Oh, you want to? Fine. And he kind of takes it off and then just kind of grabs an empty piece of parchment and then just kind of lifts his hands off of the paper and then plonks them down onto the other, and it just copies the exact document.
That's
onto the
cool.
other.
I can copy and pasted that.
Yeah, essentially prestidigitation, kind of. So, and he puts away his copy of the contract, hands over a copy to you, and right, follow me. And he leads you off to kind of what a side corner looks like. It would probably lead into a hallway, and you actually realize that the hallway goes on for about 5 feet or so, and then a massive staircase going up in one direction and down in another. And it looks impossible that the angles are the way that they are. Like, it's a straight 45-degree angle up in either direction. And he leads you down into a much lower area, a good, 40, 50 feet down. And eventually around a very sharp corner into a massive circular chamber. And in the center of it, a series of different pentacles. And within those, they've gotten them preset on the ground using a series of pieces of chalk. And he takes a little bit of time, Secomber, flipping through a couple of books, making sure that he has the correct symbols. And eventually, right, I'll be dropping you in the center of the dip. Does that work for all of you?
Center of the dip.
That sounds good to me.
That tracks, yeah.
Do we recognize what he means by the center of the dip?
That's
Yeah, so the
how I-
dip is the valley between the three hills. So Secomber is
Okay.
essentially a trio of hills, and the dip is the center area where all of the tavern, inns, and places are.
That sounds good, preferably
And
at ground level.
Yes, yes, ground level in the middle of the street. By the fountain, by the fountain.
Much appreciated.
And he just kind of,
I hope it's still there. Very well.
and he ends up writing everything in, finishing off the circle, and eventually is like,
All right. You're only going to have a little bit of time, so make sure that you're able to get through quick enough. And
Wait.
go!
and he ends up writing the final symbol, and the pentagram on the ground flares, goes from white to a bright blue, and kind of forms like slightly flickering flames on the ground. And he ushers all of you to start making your way inside.
Cool. Jumping in.
Oh.
Here we go.
All right, so you all just kind of step on, and as you place a single foot on one after another, all 6 of you end up just vanishing, and then you feel this tug on your body, like as if you're being stretched through a very thin tunnel, your legs elongating out impossibly long in front of you, and you kind of immediately have to close your eyes, and you feel this well of sickness coming up in your stomach, and it kind of choke it down, and then boosh, you feel your foot land on hard packed earth, and immediately blink a couple of times and just make sure 10 digits, 10 toes, horns, armor, weapons, everything is still on you, and you feel like your insides are still kind of untwisting a little bit from being compressed so much. But you do eventually step forward, and you look upon a very familiar sight. The buildings look relatively untouched. There's a couple of spots of damage on one of the hills, but where you're looking up to, it doesn't really seem to be that badly affected.
Not that bad.
Is Amelior's tower still standing?
From where you are now, you can't actually see it. You would have to climb up a little bit to be able to go see it further.
I will do that.
We're gonna head that direction, yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the differences as well is in comparison to the last time you were here, you saw some of the Lord's Alliance troops bustling around. You saw some of the locals as well moving around and moving different carts of the produce that they had been harvesting, donkeys pulling different carts and wagons of different grocery supplies. There is no one here. Silent streets.
Kind of ears out for any sound.
Yeah, and all of you kind of have
deserted.
everything perked.
Mm-hmm.
Does it look like it's been deserted?
Pretty close. It's been, based on when you scried on Amelior until now, probably 3 days or so.
Right.
So it's definitely been some time. So with the doctor leading the party up, knowing the direction, heading south out of the dip up into a higher point where you're able to look over across the water to where Amelior's tower was, you see a bunch of gray stone rubble on the ground. And
Promising.
a newer, shorter, kind of brighter gray stone tower. Looks like it's only one story.
Nice.
Industrious little fuck.
Yeah.
I think that happened this morning.
Sorry, I missed all of that. Say that again.
Did you say it's been 3 days since we scribed Amelior? Because that was this morning.
I think it was.
We went to the library and then we went to the Undermountain.
I think it was the day before. It's been 1 day.
Sorry,
I
it was
think.
3 days since. Sorry, it was 3 days since you told Raiden and oh my God, what?
Lady Silverhat.
Shazair. What happened
yeah.
in when you were coming into Waterdeep? It's been 1 day since you scribed on Amelior. Sorry, I got my timelines messed up.
Yes,
Okay.
man.
So you do come over that hill, and you do see this newer, smaller, kind of shinier tower, but it's only one story in comparison to the 3-story one that you had seen before.
Amelior's this Minecraft Steve. He's already going at it.
Amelior! I'm gonna yell out Amelior.
So he's still across the water. You guys have to cross the water to get over to where his tower is.
Do we want to go check in on him, or do another kind of preliminary scan before we go in here?
Probably smart we go check on him first.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
I mean, the town seems pretty deserted. It doesn't look like we're gonna be missing very much. So
Leslie, you could loot. You
I
love
don't
that.
need
You want to
some
send
loot.
Rick for a quick loop around?
That might
Oh, I suppose I
Up
could do
through
that.
do a little,
Yeah, I'll pop Rick and get him to make the trek over, just to
Okay.
do a quick little roundabout.
All right. So Rick flies invisible, I'm assuming.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. So Rick turns invisible, flies across the water, and starts to get towards the edge of the little island that Ameliour set his tower on. And as soon as he hits the edge of where that island is, a bolt of blue energy fires out from the tower and shoots him out of the sky. What's his AC?
Oh, fuck.
boy.
Wait.
He's on defensive mode.
Oh, it doesn't matter. That's a 29 to hit.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
How many hit points does Rick have?
12.
12?
Oh my god, he on X Games mode.
Yeah, 21. So Rick just vanishes in thin air, and you just see a puff of brimstone as this trap seemed to have been triggered by anything passing through.
I'm going to turn to the party and give the Jim from The Office look.
So who wants to go next?
We want to let him know that we're coming? We're here to help him?
Sure, yeah, I can check in. Yeah, I'll cast sending to him.
Yep.
Or wait, are we able to cast, like,
Message?
are we close enough that we can message him?
Message 120 feet? No. You'd have to be across the water.
Sorry. I thought it was 1,000 for some reason. No. Cool, then I will cast sending to Ameliour Amenitas.
Okay. So casting sending on Ameliour, you eventually do have the connection with him, so you're able to fire off your message. What would you like to say?
Okay, hey Ameliour, it's Leif and the rest of the party. We're here in Secomber. Can we visit right now? See you soon. That's it.
And the response is fairly quick.
Am I safe to assume that was your thing that I shot out of the sky?
Not gonna respond to that one, but yes. It's a rhetorical.
I'll take that as a yes. Make your way over, I'll drop my defenses.
Cool, and I'll just be kind of hearing that, just squat down and start ritual casting Water Walk.
Okay.
How long does that take? 10 minutes?
Yeah, 10 minutes.
Okay, cool.
I prefer to jump in the water ahead and do
Alright.
a
So
big
let's-
old 5-point dive, 10-point dive.
With Leif taking 10 minutes to cast Walk on Water, can I cast Find Steed to get Cinnamon with us?
Sure. Is that how long it takes to cast?
Yeah?
Yeah.
I
Okay.
believe so.
Awesome. So in that time, you're able to summon Cinnamon as well. And as the two of your spells finish up, all of you kind of feel a little bit of sponginess to the bottom of your feet, and then Cinnamon just kind of walks through an ethereal cloud into full view. As you guys are casting that as well, Elethe and Aluura, you two had been kind of looking around for anything. Both of you kind of notice, especially Aluura, given the time of day right now, that off in the distance where you had previously seen the fort, the Alliance fort, the Lord's fort, it appears to have been brutalized in multiple ways. Multiple towers have been torn over. The front gates have been removed entirely. Stone lies in rubble piles all over the place. It looks as though it has just been torn asunder.
Looks like there was a lot of damage and destruction over at the Lord's Alliance Tower.
Yeah, and it with being a full four-corner fort, there would have been some substantial force that would have been required to be able to bring that down.
This was more than just that one being, you guys.
Well, as I kind of look up from doing my little sand pictures, I'm sure we'll be finding out a bit more info soon, and snap it and start rolling.
All right. So with everybody having Water Walk being cast on them now, you're able to start making your way across. And you do see Ameliour is now standing outside of his tower, door open. But in comparison to when you had seen him previously, he seems to be holding a long metal staff and then having a book in his opposite hand as well.
Cool. Kind of wave at him from a distance.
And he just kind of nods at all of you, and you see that he does definitely look pretty rough. What am I hearing?
I don't know, I hear background noise.
He was watching memes again. Cool.
But yeah, so he definitely does look pretty rough. Like, his clothes are torn. There's quite a few burn marks. You can see even the side of his neck. He's got some bad black and red burn marks that are healing. He definitely does not look in the best condition, but is alive and standing at least.
Melio got chump checked. Alright.
That's
Hey,
good to see all of you again. Wish you'd been here last time, but what can I say?
What's the damage?
yeah, what happened?
Oh, it's all gone. All of it. The tower, my golems, my possessions, my books, everything.
Your cats?
Cats too.
Wait, even Lavender, a most special boy.
My favorite one, Lavender. Taken
Yeah,
from me,
crap.
too young.
Why was he your favorite, Amelior?
His coloring. I mean, when have you ever seen a lavender cat anywhere?
Do you need any healing, Amelior? How are you feeling?
Nothing that a bit of time won't fix, but I'm a bit light on food. One of the downsides when there was the attack, with this one fully erasing all of those Alliance soldiers, everybody else seemed to get out pretty quick.
What do you mean racing? Like, is that a synonym for killed them, or is something a little more arcane?
No, just a nicer word than saying murdered.
I mean,
That's
You might as well not sugarcoat it.
did they kill your cats too then, or did they just?
Well, the tower was destroyed.
Maybe they escaped. They're very resilient creatures.
I mean, it's possible, but then they would have come back to me. I built a new one, like 30 feet from where the old one was. They would have come
Now,
back.
I think we might be losing the plot here a little, guys. So, what attacked the town, Amelior?
Well, that Abishai sham thing, but did you look it up more? Did you figure out what it was exactly?
Yeah, it's not cool. It's
No,
it
it's
sucks
not.
pretty hard.
You know what's even worse than that? 4 of them!
Ooh,
Oh,
that's new.
Yeah, couple of different fucking colors, too. The blue one
What
that
kind
you
of
told me about, and then there was a red one, and a green one, and a white one.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Were they shooting different types of elemental fire from their mouths?
I don't think they
None
did
of
that,
them
Leslie.
did that.
Alright. Just checking.
I mean, they cast spells, but they're just incredibly powerful. I mean, the red one alone was able to go up to the gate and rip it off of the fort with 2 hands.
Not promising.
Putting that one in the memory bank for later.
You said that they were searching for something specific, and it was a book of yours?
Well, the blue one was able to speak to me in common, and said that there was some kind of a journey that I had taken and I had recorded. Apparently, I have a bit of a blabbermouth for that information to have made its way anywhere, but yes, they said there was a specific journal that a journey I had made into the High Forest where things were very weird, and they wanted it, and I didn't remember. I have hundreds of journals of every day and year that transpires, and eventually, apparently, they found what they were looking for because it's gone now. It's all gone.
So they were very specifically wanted to know a journal about the High Forest.
Apparently. I don't know what was in it, though. It was so long ago.
We've done a bit of research. We might understand, why you were targeted. Then more specifically, what the journal was about. If you want any sort of
Yep, please. I mean,
stories.
if you can jog my memory, perhaps there's more I can give to you.
Yeah, and sorry, just to clarify, the journal, it was the one detailing him and Wilfred going into the High Forest. Was that to Hell's Gate Keep, or where were
No,
they going?
you don't know what this one was. You guys have no idea what this journal was. The one that you know of, because Wilfred didn't keep any journals. Everything for him was just in his mind.
Okay.
And he told you that the last time that he had personally been to the High Forest was when he and Amelior had gone there and seen the Furbolg clan migration that it seemed to have come.
Okay.
And that was about it.
Yeah, okay, never mind then. Yeah, we learned a bit of info about some of did a bit of research. Were you in the High Forest at any point or learning about or observing a furbolg migration?
Not particularly observing one, but I was there 20-something years ago, and we saw that there was a clan that had taken up residence within the High Forest.
We, you said. Who's we?
Me and my cats, of course.
Can I make an insight check on that?
Go for it.
Yeah. Cool. That's a 20. That's a 27.
Jesus.
Oh.
That's a
Heck
natural
yeah.
20.
All right.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, no, his deception is not that high. Damn, that's a 24.
So we just had like a galaxy brain moment of like we're both staring, like speed lines appear.
Yeah, like he said it so off the cuff, we just so instantaneously. You were the only one who just saw this little thing at the side of his mouth go, shit. And then before he spoke.
So he's clearly really the
he's
thing I was
clearly
looking for.
there's something there that it
about.
was not just his cats.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it was all right. Oh, all right.
Amelior, was there any time you went to the High Forest where you did any kind of research or aiming to do any like excavation or archaeology around Ascalhorn or the Hell's Gate Keep?
No, I never make my way that far northeast. My areas normally I keep to when I did go in there. It's been some time, probably 7 or 8 years since I really made a big expedition in there. I mostly kept to the western side and the southern side. Entrance directly in from Secomber, occasionally into the Star Mounts near the Grandfather Tree. Those are kind of my 3 prime areas.
Do you have any maps of the specific areas and how to get to them from your travels?
Yeah, we're
Well,
hoping to do a bit of an expedition.
Well, the benefit of that really is it's a fairly well-traveled area. I mean, maps are entirely, well, I was going to say obtainable. At this point, if there's nobody there, you may as well try and make your way into some of the shops and see if you can simply find a map.
Okay. Would you be able to help mark maybe a few points of interest, if you don't mind?
Sure, I could at least, well, I mean, the major points of interest really are the Grandfather Tree, Ascalhorn, and the Star Mounts. Everything else is just forest. Well, and of course the Unicorn Run, but that's nice and easy. If you want to make your way up to the mounts, you simply follow the river.
Would, just because you had mentioned, as you know, I'm very interested in furbolg stuff, would you by any chance know where you ran into that clan in the forest?
Oh, 20-something years ago. I really can't remember.
That's fair.
What were you doing when you ran into the Furbolg clan?
I was simply in there exploring. I was a young man at the time. I was curious of the surroundings of the city, and I wanted to know more about the forest itself and all of the strife that the elves had gone through over the years. So I just simply was wandering through.
Do you know any of the elves?
No, of course not.
Emilio, did the Furbolg seem friendly?
Furbolgs keep to themselves. That's why I was so curious that you, Leif, were traveling with 5, well, I suppose these are your clan now, but I was kind of curious.
Quietly blushes like, oh. The family are the ones that you choose.
But
Yes.
I was kind of curious to see that you were traveling with 5 of these compatriots and none of your own.
Yeah, it's part of why I'm asking, really. I'm kind of trying to track down my folks, and these awesome people are helping me do that, amongst other things, yeah.
Oh. Well, I didn't realize. Well, I wish you the best of luck. I do.
Yeah.
It's
difficult
losing one's family.
I appreciate that.
I check his response? Does that seem like
Sure, go for it.
maybe his personal experience with like losing somebody and it being really traumatic?
Yeah, go for it.
And Jordy, while she's doing that, I want to swim under the water for a quick sec and try to speak to if there's any fish in the area, and simply try to give them a command to like go to the surface. I'm gonna see if I can like kill some fish to give Emilior some food.
Well, I'll just get you to make 3 attack rolls for me.
Okay.
But use your dex instead of your strength. So,
Les is playing Bass Pro Hunter.
yeah. Elethe, what was your insight?
26.
26?
Les trying to catch Froggy.
Yeah, it seems to be pulling on some personal heartstrings. He seems to personally understand that pain of not having family and not knowing who your family, or losing family over the years. So, Les, what were your dex checks?
19, 12, 6.
Okay. You would be able to spear, we'll say, 3 decently sized fish.
Cool. Go down. Get a couple, come back up.
Easy enough, and you've still got them kind of flopping on the ends of the spear.
Some fish
wow.
for you in case you get hungry there, Emilior.
He just kind of, thank you, and then reaches out and just kind of plucks them all off the spear and just...
Might want to hit them a couple times. They're still wriggling.
And he just takes them by the tail and whacks them against the side of his hut, and then brings them inside and kind of drops them off.
I'm just gonna offer Emilior a couple of days' rations from my bag.
I appreciate
Here's
it.
some clip bars.
With everybody gone, I've been scavenging what I can from the fields of what remains, but with none of the crops being tended to, I don't know exactly how long I'm going to last.
Did no one escape this attack at all?
Hmm?
No one escaped this attack in Secomber at all.
The Alliance didn't. They actively fought against it. The citizens ran. They know better. They pitchforks against any entities like this would do nothing.
But they're abandoned the town, then.
Well, yes. I mean, as soon as you see the entire military force of any kind of protection is gone in a city such as this, it's a little prone to ransacking and looting.
That's fair. I just wondered if if anyone had started creeping back in the few days since this happened.
It's been a day. It happened yesterday.
That's what I said, but earlier you said it was like...
No, I corrected myself earlier. Where 3 days ago was when you guys messaged Raiden. I got it screwed up. You messaged Raiden to tell him this is what happened. We're on our way back to Waterdeep. And then yesterday morning is when you tried to reach out to everybody. And it looks like it happened not last night, but the night before. So about like 36 hours ago.
Okay, gotcha. So just scratch that whole line of question.
Huh.
More question. Did you ever get any interesting information, like any new research about the grandfather tree, or what significance that it had?
Not for me particularly. It was just an interesting place within the High Forest. It would be something that you would be able to look up.
They didn't ask you any questions about this journal you'd written or your experiences? They just took it?
Yes, they simply said that there was a journal that they needed, and it had information vital to them, and they wanted me to give them the journal, and I just couldn't tell them which one it was. So they tortured me and hurt me until I essentially said, just take them all.
I see.
Seems fair.
Have you done any work involving opening gates or exploring some sort of gates into other material planes?
Absolutely not. I'm far too weak of a caster to be able to do any of that myself.
Hey, out of curiosity, Emilior, would you perchance be able to teleport aspiring young party back to a larger city if we gave you things?
Not at all.
Well, that's good.
We asked him last time, I think.
Oh, that's right.
Jordy, me asking Emilior, but how far away are we currently from the original tower?
From the original tower, like 30 feet. Yeah, it's on the same little plot of land. It's just that it's all rubble about 30 feet away.
He's got a tiny home going now.
Yeah, he essentially seems to be building it up one level at a time.
Would you mind if we took a look at the rubble from your prior tower?
Please, I've come through it as best I can, but perhaps you can see things that I can't.
Perfect. Let's.
Do you happen to have-
I was just gonna say, let's do some digging.
Hope, was that what your thought was?
Yeah. I just wanted to have a little look to see how it felt. Make sure that if need be, we could perform some kind of holy rite on the ground. Yeah.
Is Jordy frozen?
No, I'm still here.
Oh,
No, I know.
You guys are telling me, like...
listening intently.
Yeah, I'm waiting for you guys to tell me what you're doing.
I was going to say, though, Emilio, in your collection of scrolls and spells and all kinds of magical things, were you able to recover any of these things, or were they all completely gone?
No. Everything was taken or destroyed, seemingly making sure that I wouldn't be able to do anything with what they had left me. I'm going to have to start from scratch with all of my books. I don't even have a tome that I can use to cast any spells at the moment.
What
No
was
weapons of any kind?
you had in hand before? What was the book that you had in hand when we first saw you when we crossed the water?
Well, this is where I've had to start from scratch. I had to use my memory and be able to write down at least enough to give me a few things that I could do. One of which was remembering the incantation to be able to cast sending, to be able to send the message to Leif and let him know what had happened.
can I cast message to Leif? Leif, do you think it's a smart idea to let Amelia copy from oh gosh, what is her name?
Casimir's sister's book.
Cass's sister's book in order to like win him onto our good side?
I don't see why not, but I'm not listening, so it's fine.
Yeah, no,
Think about muscle cars.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure I can't respond, so I'll just sort of look
You
over.
can.
Oh, I
You
can?
can. Yeah, you can.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think there's any harm in it. Guys kind of lost a lot. It's probably the least we can do.
Okay. Amelior, I don't know how much you have copied down in your from memory, but we might have something that could help you kickstart that, redoing that book.
Anything that you have would be greatly appreciated.
I think Elethe, do you have the...
If we let you look from it, you can just copy from it. You don't need to take the actual book because we'd like to hang on to it.
Yes, but it depends on how many things I need to copy. It takes time, hours, depending on what I need. So I can look and let you know a few and let you know how long I need the book for.
Absolutely. All right. Well,
How does the group feel?
I don't care. I'm good either way.
Trust
Doesn't
your
impede me in any way.
Yeah, I think it's, we need help.
So I reach into the bag of holding and pull out. God, what was her name? What's her name, Jordy? I'm sorry.
Katrina.
I keep thinking Katrina, and I was like, it doesn't start with K.
No.
I pull out Katrina's tome,
Okay.
and
he passed it over, and it's a pretty hefty one, and he's kind of flipping through it and just kind of looks up at all of you and just...
story of how we got that is pretty fucking crazy, let me tell you.
Yeah, How long can I keep this book for?
Depends on how long we want to stay in Secomber in the area, because we are going to be taking it with us.
Do you want to come with us? We're going into the forest, aren't we?
No, I'm good. You can make that journey on your own. I can't copy while I walk. I am very interested. Give me You know what? Take as much time as you need. I'll be fine.
So,
And he just kind of turns around. Sorry?
But if we're going to leave this book here with you and we are going to walk away, I think we'd all appreciate some kind of collateral or assurance that you're not going to cut and run with the tome now that all your other books and things have been destroyed.
And he just kind of, sure. And he just takes the staff that's in his hand and he just tosses the staff at you.
Okay.
Can we just like Mary Poppins like catch it and it just goes straight into the bag?
Just like straight in and just close the bag up.
Unless anyone wants it.
One of the abilities that spellbook has is because there's teleportation in there, right?
Yep.
One of the things in there that we would like if you could learn and then assist us with is teleportation.
Perhaps you don't quite understand how wizards use magic. Even if we have a spell, it simply doesn't mean that we can cast it. It's something that we have to have the innate ability and training to be able to do that. If you could imagine a series of levels that you have to go through.
Interesting.
I personally am simply not at a level where I'm able to cast a spell of that caliber.
Look, I don't want to pitch Amelior, but if you join us into the forest, who knows? Maybe you might,
Experience that would get you closer to said level.
I wish that were the case, but unfortunately, as an individual such as myself, I am kind of stuck at the ability level that I am currently at.
Hey, Amelior, you said you didn't mind if we poked around the ruins, right?
No, please, whatever you need, go right ahead.
And he just immediately starts making his way inside, and you can see him starting to already copy things out of there as quickly as he can.
Hey, can we hear anything from the inside of the little tower? Like maybe a little meow or
Sure, make
a
a
little
perception
woof
check.
woof maybe?
I
Sorry.
would have been also listening for that.
Yeah,
for sure.
perception, sure.
May I ask that as soon as we are like at the foot of the tower, to cast Divine Sense,
Sure.
to see if I can feel out one of the cat's presence or just any other creatures.
Okay. So
Jordy,
for your two perception checks.
24.
24? 28? Listening in, you don't hear any mewling sounds coming from the other side. You just hear some slight crackles of what sounds like dying firewood. That's about it. Hope Divine Sense doesn't work that way, I don't think.
Balls. I mean, I thought I could like detect a variety of
Strong
creatures.
evils registers on your senses like a noxious odor, and powerful good rings like heavenly music. Detect no location of any celestial, fiend, or undead within 60 feet of you. That's it.
Balls.
Jordy's
Well,
already-
we don't know. Maybe Lavender is
Exactly. It
An
could have.
undead cat.
This thing's about to be undead. We're like, I'm gonna kind of turn to the group, gang. What the hell are we doing? The cat's dead.
I wouldn't mind taking a look over by the ruins, seeing if we can't find anything.
Yeah, if we can find like a scrap of that thing, that might be useful.
Elethe, Aluura,
Yeah.
would you like to join me?
I rolled a 27.
Oh, how silly of me.
27 investigation check?
Yeah.
Yeah. Combing through, you kind of start pulling a couple of boulders over. You can see some of the areas that it looks like Amelior has already passed through, pulled off a couple of the heavier stones and the lighter ones. Well, things just went
I
really
was
weird.
trying to change my mic. Apparently, it's really low. So, but then I did this like I'm testing it. Jingle.
All good. But yeah, so you kind of are able to make your way in and lever some of the heavier ones that it looks like he wasn't able to move. And underneath some of those heavier ones, you do see that there are a couple of intact, burned, but intact tomes. There are a couple of pieces that you recognize from his furnishings. There was the rug that was on the ground in front of the couch that you were sitting on. You kind of comb through a little bit more and you find a couple of broken trinkets. Looks like heavy stones had fallen on those. There's scraps of food here and there. But beyond that, not a ton.
While they're
What are
all
the
going,
tomes?
Sorry?
What are the tomes?
What are the tomes? So you end
Are
up,
they just random tomes?
excuse me. So you end up pulling them out, and they seem to be, for the most part, just assorted books. They seem to be part of his collection. You do see that one of them does appear to be a spell book of some kind, but it's kind of burned in half. So it looks like it might have been one of his that was stored somewhere that he just wasn't able to find because he wasn't able to lift off the heavier boulders on his own.
While they're all doing that, and they're going over to the other tower, I want to go to Emilior, as he's holding the new book we just gave him, and ask him quickly, in that tome, is there anything in there that suggests possibly planier travel between planes of existence of any type?
You would have known that already, and the answer is no.
No, I would have?
Yeah, because you guys know all the spells that were in there. You've had the book now for over a year. You were able to look through it.
I wasn't with them. Well, we separated, I wasn't sure, but that's okay.
Yeah, no, you were able to look through it when you guys got out of Ravenloft before you left Barovia. Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. So taking a little bit of time pulling that out, you do find a semi-intact spellbook in the ruins. And then as you're kind of combing through a little bit further, Aluura, you end up kind of pulling one over, and your fingers catch against something a little on the softer side. And you just kind of instinctively just like, oh, please don't be. And then you start to notice that it looks like there is a crushed cat. And it's kind of a lime green one. But doesn't appear to be lavender. But you do get the general assumption that when the tower came crashing down, everything inside probably went with it.
What'd you find?
What indeed?
Oh.
Just some books and some sad remains.
Did we find, is Lavender's remains in there anywhere?
Not that I've found so far.
I'm gonna go take a look, and I'm gonna go over to the ruins and start going under the rubble to see if I can find the remains of Lavender.
Sure.
I'll kind of be behind Les and casting guidance on him so he can, like, lift more.
Sure. So we'll say with Aluura's check.
Lifting.
So with Aluura's check, let's say Les, go ahead and make an athletics check for me, or actually straight strength, because you're trying to just lift some of the heaviest pieces that Aluura isn't able to move.
And
Plus
sorry,
guidance?
Hope, are
Plus
you
guidance,
assisting?
Yeah, I'm assisting this, if that's okay.
Okay, so Les, you'll make it at advantage then.
Same number twice. That's like, so it's plus strength plus guidance, so that's 13 plus 7.
You rolled for the D4?
Oh, I roll it.
Yeah.
Right. Good. 2. So that's plus 6. 13 plus 6.
Okay, so 19 total. Between you and Hope lifting off some of the heavier pieces, trying to get underneath, Aluura did a pretty good job. You start to lift off more and more pieces. You start to find some stones that don't match others, and you would imagine that these would probably correlate to the stone golems that were inside his tower. But again, completely destroyed, sundered. You can see burn marks on some of them, large claw slash marks on others. And again, you guys lifting off more, you end up finding the remains of 2 more cats, one kind of an aquamarine, and then another one a darker turquoise.
But no Lavender.
No lavender
So
still.
Lavender Cat is a real...
There's a chance that he might have escaped. Just saying.
We don't know Lavender. They.
No, it's a
Yeah, Lavender is a he.
Okay. Okay. We tried, you guys. We're just gonna have to spend some time in the Underdark.
Oh, well, I mean, we could paint one of these things. What are the odds we can get a new Lavender Cat? I don't know. Probably not great.
I mean, I know a fun way to get a cat.
Pet cemetery.
Elethe?
Jordy, can I just look through any of the brush nearby to see if there's any sign that an animal has gone through, if the cat managed to escape the crumbling tower?
So one of the kind of benefit detriments of this is that he's on an island with basically no foliage of any kind. It was just his tower that was the one standing structure.
Okay.
Yeah, otherwise it's water on all sides, in which case cat would have had to travel for several hundred feet to get to the other side of the water, which we all know.
I'm gonna go over to this other side of the island and look for Lavender. It means I'm going to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, gang,
Well, fellas, what now?
Do we, once Les finishes looking for Lavender over there, which is brutal, he's not even standing behind anything, we can just see him.
There's nothing to stand behind, Leif. What's he supposed to do?
He was swimming in the water like 2 minutes ago. I don't know if you guys have ever done it. When you kind of wade halfway out into the water, it's phenomenal. Cheer me out. It's incredible. Anyways, but he probably feels weird about swimming around in it later. Anyhow, are we thinking of heading into the forest tonight? Or heading that way?
Well, we have 3 months to complete the task for Wilfred. It takes 10 days on horseback to get back to Waterdeep. Am I correct, or is it more like a month?
No, it's 10 days on horseback.
10 days on horseback. There is 1 horse. So I'm kind of more interested in arranging our travel arrangements back before we start heading into the high forest, because I don't super want to have to work for this guy.
We could go to Secomber and see if there are any horses that have been left behind.
That's a fair point.
That's a good call. Sorry, by work for this guy, are you talking about Wilfred?
That's correct, yeah.
I mean, it kind of feels like wait, we came out here to figure out, go into the forest, right?
Well, yes, but, just so we're able to get back within the time limit we need to.
That's fair. Just want to make sure we're on the same page there.
One thing as well.
I mean, unless there's a drinking championship Les wants to pursue.
That's true. We could just live here. We just never have to go back to Waterdeep.
Les is the permanent drinking champion with no opponents.
There we go.
Well, there is hope. They will
Let's get Sunset as a character.
We'll just go back and forth between me.
There is one thing. So Leif as well, just given your knowledge of how far away the High Forest is from where your granny's house is, you're looking at several days on horseback just to get to the High Forest from where you are right now.
Yeah. So there's almost no way we're going to do this without...
You'd be looking at a substantial amount of time if you didn't have any horses to be able to get there.
Oh, yeah.
It was signing that contract. We should have just we should have.
The other thing is that if we go back without that cat, we're indebted to him, or we're in servitude to him.
Well, we all we have to do is complete his favor. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, and there's no. If my understanding is, if we void the time limit, we're already.
Then we're boned.
Yeah.
Are we boned, or are we doing work for him anyways?
Well, we're working for him anyways, but if we just do the terms of the contract, then we don't have to worry about being in servitude for him.
For a year.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Why don't we take one of the remains, by the way, I'm back. Why don't we take one of the remains of the other cats so that doctor could do his timey-wimey wooby-booby, bring the cat back to life, and we just prestidigitation purple, Bob's your uncle, we have a lavender cat.
I don't know what you think I can do, but it's certainly not that.
I think he's thinking speak to dead on a cat. So you can ask the cat 3 questions, it'll go murr, 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 and then be dead again.
I'll give you a preview. Who's a good boy? Are you hungry? What the fuck are you doing?
Did we
Why are you knocking water off the thing?
Hold on. Did we figure out where Elethe, did that other cat run off, or?
Yeah, unless Lavender's a really good swimmer, and all the cats that I've known don't really like to go in the water, he is probably under the rubble or taken by the people who came here to herd Amelior.
And I'm taking your cat too.
I mean, who knows?
Do we want to just spend an evening moving rocks to see if we can find?
I think that's the best outcome, because otherwise we're, hooped with that contract that we signed.
It may benefit some of us to head back into town and scout out some of these ruins that we might find naps or supplies.
I don't mind going back into town and seeing what I can find.
I'll go with you.
Happy to help search. Although, Les, I just had a thought, and this may be something that you touched on before I rejoined you, but could you remember interacting with Lavender when you were a cat? Did Lavender seem especially smart when we were first at Amelior's place?
Especially smart, no, but it's a lavender cat. how often do you see a lavender cat? It's more the rarity of the coloring of the fur.
It's a unique specimen, I will say that. But, didn't seem too out of the ordinary, but it's pretty curious.
Gang, I might be able to do a bit of radar on this thing if we really want to find it. Now, Jordy, I just had to look up, because I can cast both spells, locate object or locate creature. Assuming lavender has perished, it, I believe, qualifies as an object.
Correct.
No? So I will
cat
cast...
remains versus cat.
I will cast locate object.
Okay.
Okay.
And what's the range on locate object? It's 1,000 feet.
I believe it's 1,000 feet. I can double check.
I think it is.
Cool. Leif, while you're looking for that, should we... Amelia is like out of our earshot, right?
Oh, he's back inside his little stone hut with the door closed.
Okay. Do we... If we find his cat, do we tell him we found his cat? Do we...
Oh, most certainly not.
Do we leverage his use of that book in return for the cat?
I mean, what were we really using the book for in the first place?
No, that's what I'm saying is, so if he wants to use the cat, which clearly, or the book, clearly he does, we get to take the fucking cat.
Or we just take the cat.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean...
The cat originally belonged to Wilfred anyways, so...
Yeah,
Okay.
technically, I mean, I don't really know the extent of, that transaction. As long as we're not lying to him and he thinks the cat's just gone.
He's a
It's
weak
not
ass
wrong.
magic user anyway. He needs a book to be smart.
What?
The tome.
Either way.
Without the tome and the books, he can't do anything. He's useless.
I mean, less realistically, we're useless without, a lot of things, so...
Yeah.
Regardless.
Having, he says he's not super powerful, but still having a wizard on our side and somebody who seems to have a lot of knowledge about arcane doings and, items is not a bad thing.
I
And
will remind you, Les, that Victor was
Thank
a
you.
very helpful part of taking Strahd down, and he was one of those that needs a book to cast, I believe you said.
Oh, so.
it's never a bad idea to have somebody indebted to us, and it
Yeah.
doesn't cost us anything to let him copy from the book. So I say, let's leave it for now.
Yeah.
He's in a bad state.
I'm just looking forward in the instance where he finds us trying to take the cat.
Right. I think we can be sneaky enough about it that it won't be an issue.
Okay.
I appreciate you bringing it up, Aluura. It's something that doesn't make me feel great, but knowing that Amelia is not the true owner of Lavender makes me feel a bit better about it.
If we want to be real altruistic, then maybe Leif could also bring back one of the other cats to leave with Amelia so he has company before we go. If we really
let's find
Do
this
we want to waste a diamond on that?
Yeah, we're gonna be spending a lot on this.
Isn't it like 1,000 gold pieces? 500 gold pieces?
Yeah.
500.
Yeah.
If Amelia has a diamond or something valuable like that he can give it to us for service, maybe.
Let's just let's find this cat first, and then go from there. So I'm gonna cast locate object.
Okay.
I believe.
So you cast locate object. You do find that there is a ping, specifically looking for a purple cat. But it, and this is, unfortunately, we're getting a little dark here. It appears much smaller than you thought it would be.
Okay.
And it is buried underneath the rubble in a certain spot. And you kind of getting less in hope and with yourself to dig through and lift off some of the heavier stones. You find that it is the bottom half of a cat. It appears as though you can see that there are some jagged tooth marks that potentially one of the creatures that assaulted
Yeah.
Melior was a little on the hungry side.
Had a little snack on the way out.
All right, we found it.
No, don't say anything.
One of the other things that you do see diving a little further down underneath is that in addition to the cats, which are kind of like higher up in the rubble overall, but going much deeper down, you actually find that there are other large swaths and patches of fur that seem to be associated with much larger creatures. But again, have very similar bite marks and torn skin.
Can I tell what kind of creatures the fur came from?
Make a nature check.
All right.
And Leif, you can actually do the same.
14.
14.
Yeah. My nature's actually not great for a ranger. It's not one of my specialty skills.
Leif?
Mine's a 17.
17. Elethe, you kind of recognize it. Bear skin of some kind, but it doesn't quite match bear fur. And Leif, you actually recognize it as bugbear fur.
Oh.
Bugbear.
Whoa. The fuck? He had a bugbear in his basement?
And kind of digging through a little bit more as all of you are now getting deeper and deeper and like trying to figure out what the hell is going on in here. Multiple claws and hands and feet of different sizes of bugbears. It appears that there were things within his tower that were not revealed just on the first floor.
Oh.
Well, into town.
Yeah. Yeah.
If no one's taking the bottom half of the lavender cat, I am taking that and putting it in my bag.
Go ahead and make a... Do you want to do it like in full view of everybody or sneakily?
No, sneakily.
Okay, go ahead and make a sleight of hand check for me. This will be against passive. Elethe, your passive is like 22 or something?
3.
23? Yeah, pretty sure it's not even possible.
Perception?
Yeah. No, sleight of hand.
Oh,
Oh no.
yeah, that's 13.
13. Every
pretty sure
single
I-
person in the party, I think except for Hope,
For perception.
passive perception.
Passive.
Yeah, basically everyone but me.
Yeah, every single person but you sees that you take the bottom half of lavender and stick it in a pocket somewhere.
I got a satchel.
Yeah, you got a satchel. You got the bottom half of a dead cat in your satchel.
Wrap it in a towel, in material.
In cloth, yeah.
Leif
Leslie,
kind of mutters like, I can take care of that.
Leslie, what are you doing?
And, this could be ways that we could revivify it, bring it back to life. It could come in handy. You don't know. We want to get out of this contract. We have a bargaining chip right here. We might want to have it on us. I'm just saying.
I don't know if you can bring back half a cat, and if you could,
We'll find out together.
What? No, we won't.
Why not?
You want to
Can
wait?
Elethe, would you like to go into town? This is starting to get a
Yeah.
little silly.
Maybe, Leif, can you explain to Les that that's not how Revivify works?
Yeah, that's really, yeah, we're kind of...
What? It's dead. You crush some diamond on it, it comes back to life. What's the problem?
Fantastic. Elethe, I got something for this.
Yeah.
I'm going to cast Fly on both of us.
Woo!
Okay. So,
Leif
Never-ending
looks
story.
wistfully like, oh.
so the fly spell is cast, and the two of you start to levitate off the ground a little bit, and you're able to control yourselves, essentially swimming a little bit through the air and directing yourselves using your pointing toes and feet. And
great.
Fly lasts for 10 minutes.
I believe. Let me look.
I think it's 10 minutes. I don't think it's an hour.
I think it's probably 10 minutes. Yeah, up to 10 minutes.
Up to 10 minutes, yeah. So with the fly speed that you guys have, you are able to very quickly hop across the water, get most of the way in towards the dip on the other side, and then eventually start to make your way down. And you see the same familiar, seemingly abandoned ghost town. A couple of the doors loose on their hinges, a couple of them open inside, some of them still closed. Some windows shuttered, others smashed. But you eventually do make your way down, and you find the couple of buildings that were pointed out to you before. One of them specifically is kind of the general goods shop. And making your way inside there, you see that there are most of the items there. It looks like some of the necessary pieces have been removed. So like iron spikes, rope, a lot of bags are gone, tents, satchels, things that people would be able to use to be able to survive outside of the village. But a lot of the more adventuring related things, day tripper stuff, things like maps and single use items tend to still be there.
Sick. Any bottles of oil?
Yeah, there would be 2 bottles of oil.
Cool, I'm take those.
Yeah.
So yeah, so 2 bottles of oil. There are maps. All the maps really denote a single route towards the High Forest, and then there are 2 maps that break off from that. One towards Unicorn Run, and eventually the Star Mounts, and then the second towards the Grandfather Tree.
I mean, I think we take all those.
Yeah, we're gonna take like the 3 maps. So like the local one, then the Unicorn Run one, and the Grandfather Tree one.
Oh, sorry, it's 2. It's 1 to get there, and then 1 in each of the 2 directions. It's just that the route to get there is the same on both.
Yeah, then whichever, we'll take them both.
Awesome. Yep.
Is there anything else that would be useful for us here?
Make investigation checks, both of you.
Sick.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll do nicely.
24?
24.
That is a 28.
28. Yeah, Elethe on a 24. You find there are some pretty substantial things. There are bullseye lanterns, so lanterns that have a very directed, focused beam, so they can kind of be used to point out things that are in a darker area. Those ones are hidden behind the counter, and you're able to eventually go down and find them there. It looks like they're in quite good condition. And the doctor specifically, you kind of rooting around, you end up finding a fairly large chest. And the chest actually is underneath a small tablecloth. It looks like it's used to store some of the more valuable items. And inside you find 2 sets of climbing gear.
Well. That
Nice.
is for us now.
I have one, but let's take the other one back, just in case somebody else would like to take it.
The climbing gear?
Yeah, I have one, but
Oh, I'm taking both.
yeah, exactly.
How many bullseye lanterns were there, Jordy?
There were 3.
Okay.
Do we need more than one?
Probably.
Okay.
Gang coming back fully outfitted from MEC.
I got this pen that writes upside down.
Whoa!
Jordy, is there like a register or anywhere that they would have like kept?
Ooh, good thinking.
I don't want to steal it. I'm going to leave mine.
Yeah. Normally for a shop such as this, you would imagine, especially given the size of the town, there would probably be a strong box, a lockbox of some kind. But it looks like where that would be, because it would normally be a pretty heavy item, and you can kind of look around underneath the backside of the counter. There are pretty heavy set grooves where it would have been put in and taken out at the end of each day, and it does appear to be missing.
Okay,
We can leave a note that says, "Thanks, demons."
I was just going to leave like 5 gold and in a spot, if I can kind of like disguise it, but like where the lockbox would be, so if they go to return to their shop, they'll see it.
Yeah, easy enough to do. The counter is fairly deep, so you kind of slide the 5 gold pieces right towards the back, and there's a little corner, and you just kind of have a little stack of gold coins in the far back corner.
Yeah.
Okay, so you leave your 5 gold pieces there.
I'm going to leave one of the calling cards.
And one of the calling cards wedged in between the coins on the side.
Again, the doctor's not going to see.
Gotcha. All right, so with your gear acquired, the fly spell has worn off by this point. What would the rest of you have
We
been
should
doing
also
on the
check
other
out the barracks, yes?
I agree. I mean, there might be something left behind, some kind of clue. Something Leif could scry from, maybe, even.
Very possible.
side? Okay. So for the rest of you, the other 4 that were back on the island while they were doing that, what did you guys want to be doing?
Yeah, so we're where are we thinking we should go from here, gang?
Well, we know that those Abishai things were really focused on the High Forest. We could go exploring in there, see if anything comes up.
That's true.
The problem with that is we've got this contract we have to fulfill for Wilfred,
yeah.
that we've got 3 months and that's it to complete. We almost only had a month and I pressed him on it.
All right, we got 3 months, but the High Forest isn't that far away. We can easily go explore there and figure it out. Plus, I got half a lavender, so we got something going on, you know.
Well, it's just short of a week to get there from here, and it's roughly the same size as from what I understand, it's extremely it's not exactly the most forgiving place, so we might actually end up being in there for more than a month.
Yeah, I think that it's highly likely that time will get away from us when we're in the High Forest. And I don't want that to happen, which would result in us having a year of servitude.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
but I
Yeah,
don't
time skip.
necessarily, it's quite annoying that we just got here.
sort of what our party's really good at, though. We've been,
And then, like, oh, okay, we don't really have anything.
We
to
find
ask.
one town we really love and we stay here for millennia. That's what we do. Don't go anywhere else. Just
yeah, it's definitely a bit tricky. I don't really, hope. Do you have any ideas on this?
I do. I feel like with the state of Lavender, I kind of feel like the best we can do is kind of at least destroy the creature who destroyed Lavender as an to show that we are serious with her.
That, having spoken with Wilfred,
Wilbur.
I
Yeah.
don't think he'll accept that.
I don't know.
That
It's
won't null our contract at all.
yeah, it's sort of a interesting position to be in. I don't really. We took this.
By the way, who's gonna force us to do this? You know, say we can't follow up with the contract. We're really gonna just like honor the deed. We can just say F you, tear up the contract, and just get at it. We don't have to do anything to nobody.
Oh
I mean,
boy.
it's not untrue. The guy was able to teleport all of us here, so he probably does have some sort of. It's not exactly the easiest thing to battle with. I'd prefer to stay on his good side. He seemed quite knowledgeable.
I agree.
It's not really his fault the cat isn't around.
Yeah, but it's also what we promise, and we need to figure out something that we can do. I'm kind of intrigued by going to the High Forest as well with Les. Like, I agree with Les. Like, I think that would be a worthwhile journey.
I agree too.
And then maybe a cat we can paint lavender.
I mean, look, if we want to do that, I know the doctor can cast polymorph on you. So either way, my thought here is, say we get into the High Forest and it takes us, 40 whatever days to get in there. I think we want to have as much time as we can in there. It's kind of annoying that the way it's shook down is that we got here and now we need to leave. That's my thought, though. I'm happy to put this to the group.
Yeah. Maybe is this too out there of a thought, but do you think the library would have information on where to find these unusually colored cats? How did they come into being? Can we?
That's
they're
not.
part of the sword course host.
What if we send a message to Wilbur Wilden Wenton? What if we send a message to him and say, hey, we're on the hot trail of Lavender. We found the people that took him, and we're hot on the trail. If you get to extend our time, we can probably find him for you.
Hey, Les, well, you can learn sending and do that. I'm not great at lying, and I'm not gonna lie to this dude.
Just my one thing to interject here, because it might have been forgotten. Lavender was option 1. You do have the ability to go to the second level of Undermountain and just get the rock for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, sorry, I just wanted to confirm because the discussion was like all these ways to make a cat instead, because that was your only option except for servitude, and I'm like, just wanted to make sure you guys remember.
We're trying to avoid having to go back and do that because we don't have that much time to do that.
Well, you've got 3 months.
We're just annoyed that we have to go back to Waterdeep now.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that clarification, because I definitely needed it. Yeah.
Okay. So while you guys were having that, Doc and Elethe, you guys were making your way over to the fort to see what remained there?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. As we go, I also want to be looking for any sign of horses, if there's anything in the city left.
Yeah, absolutely. So for the two of you kind of making your way over with how recent the attack was, you're kind of looking, you see that there are a couple of animals. It looks like there's a couple of oxen that have been left in the fields, probably still tied up to the stables that they were kept overnight, ready for the work the following morning, but unable to do so. They've got water, they've got access to food, and they've started to roam off a little bit, some of them breaking off from the very simple ropes that were used to tie them. But eventually making your way over to the ruined fort, You kind of get a bit of a look down because it's perched atop one of the hills, but with everything being destroyed, there are a couple of angles that you can look in and see what's there. And you do see that the stables, surprisingly, are mostly intact.
Ooh.
All right, that's great.
That's good to know.
Yeah, you'd have to get a little closer to see if there's anything in there, but the stables themselves, it's a fairly large, closed-off area. They're mostly intact. Some of it looks to be crushed, but if there were any horses remaining, there's a pretty good chance that's where they'd be.
Okay, should we try that first, Doc, and then, or you know what, we can hit on the way out when we'd actually.
Yeah, I think let's hit up the remains of the offices if we can and see if there's anything left.
I guess it's kind of a weird thought, but if we find anyone. Oh no, wait, sorry, you have that ability. We could always speak with someone who's passed if there's any bodies.
Absolutely.
Sort of try to get some info.
Okay.
We can absolutely do that. Big fan.
All right, so the two of you starting to push your way towards the fort?
Sneakily.
Sneakily,
And
sure.
yeah, you know what? I will cast Pass Without Trace, and we're also going to do it carefully. Like, I have, just in case there's anything trappy or like any sentries left over from the baddies.
Absolutely. So go ahead and roll stealth, and then you've got the +10 bonus for Pass Without Trace.
Sick.
Yuppers.
That'll be fun.
Sorry?
That's a 29, Jordy.
29?
37.
Okay. So in broad daylight on the top of a hill, you meld into the grass, and you slowly just start to creep your way along, army style, just shifting through the grass as best you can. The shadows kind of clinging to you, giving you false cover in an area where nothing really exists. And you do make your way up and eventually come upon one of the ruined walls where you're able to kind of step through. And everything's a little bit on the loose side, but very carefully, light footfalls, you're able to step your way inside, and you eventually find yourselves inside the hard-packed earth and the stone area and all the hay on the ground that is inside the fort itself. And you kind of listen around a little bit. I'll make both of you to make perception checks for me, please.
Okay. I'm rolling great today. Perception. Okay.
Sorry, Elethe, what was yours?
19.
19, Doc?
26.
26. Both of you, almost simultaneously, you're kind of looking, and you notice that one of the four corners of the fort is still intact for the most part. It looks like some of it has been shaled off, and both of you kind of catch a glint at the last second, and you instantly dodge to the side as an arrow streaks out from that and impacts the ground right where your feet was. And you kind of immediately take cover, and looking up there and looking at the arrow, it appears to just be a regular fletched arrow.
Oh.
Is there anyone up there? Like, can we hear footsteps or anything?
You don't, and it's such a high distance up, and essentially you're looking up and towards the sun, that between the two of you, you're not actually able to see anyone there. You just caught the glint of the sun coming off of the arrowhead right before the arrow itself was released.
Hey, Elethe, should we maybe do a shout at this fella?
Good call.
I'll do a shout at the fella.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe you.
Yeah. How far are they?
From you here, probably about 190, 200 feet.
Okay, so enough that like a voice would carry.
A voice would carry, yeah, because there's no other sound.
Okay. Yeah.
And already just looking at it, it's like a regular fletched arrow that sort of like somebody in this region would be using, right?
Yeah, kind of like looking at the arrow and then looking around trying to get an idea. You see that it matches a lot of the broken arrows that are on the ground.
Okay. It's like it's ammunition from here, so
Yeah.
like friendlies.
We mean you no harm. We're with the Lord's Alliance.
There's no response.
We will be approaching slowly. Please hold your fire.
Prove it.
Okay? Gonna do the hands up, walk forward.
Okay, Elethe, are you walking with him?
I pull out my signet, hold it out, and
Yeah,
walk.
that's probably wise.
Yeah.
And you start, what is that? Drop it! Drop it!
Elethe,
It's
put
a
it down.
signet to show that we're with the Lord's Alliance of Waterdeep. I'm putting it on the floor.
Say that again. It is a signet?
It's a signet to show We're allies of the Lord's Alliance. We're not their soldiers, clearly. Don't look like it. But we're here to investigate the harm that's befallen this town, not to hurt anyone.
Who do you report to?
Rydenvorsk.
Rydenvorsk. Shazair was our last contact here. We've heard that she may have been killed, but she was the last person we talked to last time we came here.
Okay. Pick up your signet. There is a destroyed set of stairs. You'll be able to make your way up to me. What are your names? Identify.
My name is Dr. D'Amato Shenanigans.
Yes.
Wait, are you a doctor?
I am, yes.
All right. Come up. And you can see him kind of stand up, and he leans over, and you can see that he's putting a fair bit of pressure to hold himself up and at like a standing-ish height.
Are you wounded? We can help.
I was wounded before, and even more so now. Please come up here. If you have anything to make a tourniquet, I would greatly appreciate it.
I have some skill in healing. I can help you.
Thank you. Come up. My name is Ravik.
Ravik?
Oh. We know him. Sorry, I'm not there.
Do we?
Yep.
I don't. Do we?
He was the one who was injured.
Yeah,
on
he
the
was passed
Sunday,
out.
And he was the one that we
Oh.
he fought the
Right.
thing.
Yes, the guy in a coma.
Bam, bam, bam.
Right.
And Leif, Leif just gave him some cure wounds-ish stuff.
Yeah, beforehand.
Yeah.
So the two of you kind of making your way over. You do see that the stable doors do appear to be closed. The back side of it looks like it's been broken in a little bit, but it's still mostly secure. So there's a pretty good chance that if there were any horses that were being stored in there, they're probably still there.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Good.
We'll still hit that on the way out. So we're walking up and we see Ravik.
Yeah, so he's kind of slumped down at this point, and you kind of figure out the way to traverse up there. With how destroyed things are, you would imagine that he probably came from inside the main castle area, the main keep area, and kind of made his way over to one of the ladders. And it takes you guys a couple of minutes, and you kind of have to help each other up here and there. Elethe, for you, it's pretty easy, but for the doc especially, you kind of have to help him up a little bit. And you do eventually get to kind of one of the upper rampart areas where you're able to traverse a fairly narrow pathway walking across. I'll just get both of you to go ahead and make dexterity checks for me.
Sure.
Just make sure you don't fall off.
Okay. Yeah, we're still okay.
Is it just straight dexterity, or
Yeah,
is it
just
like
straight dex?
Okay. That's not good. Because my athletics and acrobatics are better, but my dex is only +4, so that's a 6.
That's a 6. Okay, doctor.
19.
19. Okay. We'll say between the two of you, Elethe, you kind of assist with helping the doctor up, getting up to some of the higher points where you're able to traverse fairly easily, and then doctor, you kind of following in behind. Elethe catches her foot on one and starts to lose her footing, and you reach over and instinctively grab her and hold her and then haul her back up. So between the two of you, you're able to make your way across without any major incident. But you eventually do get to the last part of the little rampart, and then the ladder leading up to the single remaining corner tower. And once you get up to the top, you see that Ravik, the man who identified himself, is in pretty rough shape. He's got a bone protruding from the side of his leg, and he has a fair amount of blood that looks like it's been coming, but he's kind of wrapped it as best he can. And there's a chance that because this only happened a day and a half ago, he might still be okay. You're not sure.
Okay. Leif, will you give me your spider's silk so I can tourniquet this?
Yeah, but I can also cure wounds on him.
There's that too. You can do that.
Ravik, are we okay to approach here?
You identified yourselves.
Yeah, all right. I go over and immediately kneel down next to him and cast Cure Wounds at a level 3.
Okay. And you notice that he's kind of created a little bit of a for lack of a better word, camp up here. With someone in his condition, going up and down that ladder, not exactly the easiest thing in the world. So he's got quite a few now mostly empty canteens of water. Looks like there's probably 3 or 4 days worth of rations. He's made his way through about 2 of those, and he's got a couple of assorted small medicine pieces to be able to make sure that he's able to stay conscious. So with Cure Wounds, what level are you casting it at? Sorry.
Level 3.
Level 3. Okay, go ahead and roll the healing for that.
Sorry, I'm just gonna double check what that one does.
Yeah, it's 1d8 per level plus your wisdom modifier.
Yeah. Okay. I love rolling 3 days at once. It's my favorite. I never get to do it. 19 hit points.
So 3d8 plus your wisdom?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, awesome. Perfect. So he, with that, you end up just kind of going over, placing your hands on, and with the doctor's assistance, doctor, you know, with your experience with these kind of wounds, being able to pull the leg down and right where the bone should be as Elethe is doing that, and he's just bit down onto a piece of leather that he's lifted up from the armor that he's wearing, and the moan and the cry and a couple of tears sliding down his face, but eventually the wound does start to heal, and he looks still in not great shape, but at least better than he was to start with.
We can kind of use the spider silk to sort of like augment the bandages that he has a little bit, because it's
it's something where he's definitely going to survive at this point, but it'll definitely require at least a modicum of either additional spell related healing or just time related healing.
Yeah, I'll say to him, I'm just a field healer. We're doing what we can, but we actually have a friend who's like a proper healer over at the Wizards, or the Wizards Tower. If you are able to make it back with us, I'm sure he can help you a little bit more.
Thank you. I appreciate the offer.
So last time we came through here, you weren't conscious. We actually did some healing on you then as well. But
you were the ones who came through.
Yeah.
I was told by Shazair that someone had stopped and was able to assist me. I did not know your names or anything about you, except that you were she called you a bunch of idiots. But...
Yeah, I mean, it's inaccurate, but
we may be idiots, but she's dead, so
I would have done the same thing in your place, just held up and fired off arrows at anyone who came by.
It is all I could do with the destruction that was rained by those creatures, whatever they were. The best I could do is ensure that anyone who came in looking to ransack what was left would be scared away.
Were you conscious during the attack?
I was. I had been awake for several days, I'm assuming thanks to the healing that you provided to me. With that, I was able to assist as best I could, fire a few arrows here and there, but unfortunately, one of the issues for me is I was in the rubble over there when it collapsed, and it fell down upon my leg.
It sounds like it was something of a wholesale slaughter from the accounts heard so far.
There is a reason why I pretended to be dead under the rubble.
Yeah. Amanda, what's going on?
I just read Jesse's meme.
Oh.
I'm sorry. What's going on with
Clearly someone's distracted.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
It's all good. But he was essentially saying that he was just making sure that he was staying alive, pretending to be dead under the rubble. And now that you kind of get a better look, because you were very focused on getting up to the top there, you look out from where his rooftop perch was, and you see that there are the occasional hand and limb sticking out of broken pieces of rubble, a lot of torn and spattered blood on some of the stonework on the rampart sides.
Ravik, this is maybe an insensitive question. I apologize if it's hard to hear, but do you know where Shazair's body is?
I don't. I wish that I did, but she was commanding the forces from atop one of the towers, and something seemed to pluck her out of the air and just carry her away.
Ravik, our party is likely to return to Waterdeep sooner rather than later. Are you from here, or are you from the city?
I was here with the original battalion that was part of the First Forces. Secomber has been my home for the better part of 2 years, but it is not somewhere that I am originally from, of course.
If you'd like to return with us, I'm sure the rest of the party would be happy to escort you back.
Do you know, are more forces being dispatched? Has Raiden been told, and
Yes.
is he coming with more troops?
He is.
If that is the case, I have a duty to my faction. I must remain. I do appreciate the offer, but I am not one to abandon the post, especially with this degree of healing that you provided to me. I will be able to survive until they arrive.
Do you feel well enough to walk over to the tower with us and we can help you out a little bit more so you're more recovered by the time they arrive?
Which tower?
Amelior, Amanitas' tower?
Oh, the Mad Mage or whatever? Yeah.
Yes.
No, quite honestly. It is not a lack of me feeling especially bad, but more that I have a duty to ensure that the dead remain watched over, and that I am found inside the fort.
Would you be at all opposed to us taking some of the horses for the ride back to Waterdeep? We were teleported here.
Please, of course, whatever you require, those of you with the signets and with what you have done for me and the information you've provided, you are clear allies of the Alliance. It is the least that I can do to provide you whatever you need.
Thank you. Jordy, what parts of the fort are still standing?
It's this one of the four towers, one of the four corner towers that remains, and part of the rampart area that ends up connecting to it. Beyond that, pretty much everything else is decimated and destroyed.
Okay. Elethe, do you want to take a quick scour for Shazair and then maybe head back to the group?
And anything else? Ravik, you're the only survivor, it seems.
As far as I can tell, I've been up here for a day and a half and I have seen no movement from any of the other parts of the fort.
Right. I'm sorry this happened to you and your fellows.
They were good people. I will miss the ones that I've known for several years.
Sorry, go ahead. No, you.
I was going to tell him, we came by teleport, but we know that Ridenvorst is on his way. But it may be a good 6 or 7 days longer before he gets here. Probably, maybe even longer. It's a 10-day journey, right? So more like 8 or 9 days. Do you have enough food and water?
And he just kind of looks over and... food, I can ration myself on the food well enough. Water may be in a bit short supply unless I am able to find enough. If you have anything... I don't want to ask more of you, of course, but I would appreciate anything you can offer.
I'll give him a couple of these rations, and I have a spare water skin, so I'll give him that as well.
I have a single vial of holy water that I'm going to give him, because it's probably going to do him a whole lot more good than it'll do me.
It's at least drinkable water, too.
That it is.
Super quick, I'm going to interrupt here. Huge thanks to Kel52 in the chatter. Yeah. For the 10 gifted subs that he just gave to the community. So we got 10 people that just subbed to that. So thanks to Kel for that. Appreciate that. You coming in there with that, bud. Awesome.
Yeah, very, very cool. And thanks to all those people who are watching that just got gifted subs.
Yeah.
You're so stuck to us now for a little bit. It's great.
Awesome. So you're able to leave a couple of extra things for him there, make sure that he's got enough rations. You guys know as well that it was 10 days travel for when you left, and you went at not a leisurely pace by any stretch, but you went at a regular pace with the urgency and the fact that they would have departed the previous day. They didn't wait overnight and leave the following day. You'd imagine they'd probably get there in the next 6 days or so.
I'd still leave him the water skin and just because he's injured and yeah.
Definitely.
All right. Let's do a quick sweep and then horses and then back to the tower to rendezvous with the others.
I think that's the way to go. Well, let's leave the horses here till we get the others. But
I mean, we could just bring them back to the tower. I think I could probably take a few. Or how many do we need to get each?
We would need 5 horses.
Yeah. I guess it is a little awkward to lead 3 horses at once.
Yeah. And then we got to wait for them on the other side, and then we got to play that game of the fox and the chicken and the bag of mill. Gotta get back and cross. No one? Fine.
How many horses actually are there?
That's true. We should look at how many horses are there.
All right, so climbing your way down, carefully trudging down. In this case, it's a little easier because you can kind of jump off of what the ramparts are and be able to get your way down to the ground without much issue. You end up coming to the front side of the stables. Doors are closed there, and you can hear that there is a little bit of braying on the other side. It sounds like there is definitely movement from something on the other side. And so when you lift everything up and nice and quietly peek in, you see that there are about 13 intact stalls, each of which contain a horse of assorted different sizes.
Fantastic.
Jordy, just because I know they probably haven't gotten like a lot of care in the last day or so, before we leave, can I just quickly feed and water them? I would imagine there's probably like a barrel of water there. Just so there's
lots of food troughs and hay troughs that you're able to bring over, multiple barrels of water that are collected rainwater barrels that you're, with the doctor's assistance, the two of you are kind of able to lug them over and allow them to eat and drink a little bit.
Okay.
Awesome. All right. So with knowing that, you guys are going to be heading back towards the tower.
We were going to do a quick sweep to see if we could see... Oh no, Shazzair's body would have gotten plucked from the sky. We were going to just do a quick sweep to see if we could see anything else of interest or...
Yeah. I'll say, for the sake of brevity, rather than go through checks, there's nothing. With how long he's been here and watched over everything, he's made sure that nobody's come, nobody's gone. There don't seem to be any other survivors except for him. He was the one person who seemed to make it out alive. And he took whatever he needed to survive up there before he made it up to the top of the bastion.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, we can just...
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, let's mosey.
All right, so with that, I think we're going to go ahead and take our quick break there. We'll just do a quick, probably 10-minute break, we'll say. But that means that as Shattered Tabletop rated us, you guys are going to be able to enter into our giveaway, where we're giving away a free set of dice. So awesome. Congrats to you guys. So we're going to go ahead and run a quick little break here. We'll put you guys on a break screen, and we'll give away a set of dice. The way that we do the dice giveaway is you do have to be a Canadian or U.S. resident. Unfortunately, you can't live in Quebec, so we don't ship internationally outside of Canada and the U.S. And we're going to be doing a keyword giveaway. So you'll be typing something into the chat. It'll just be one word, and when you type that in, it'll enter you into the giveaway. Make sure you only type it in one time. If you type it in more than once, you are going to be disqualified. And what are we feeling for a giveaway word today? What are you guys thinking?
Ooh.
I'll leave this one up to you guys, because I usually am the one who ends up picking it.
Yeah, usually we have one that we're like super...
We've done lavender before. It was lavender last week.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just loud.
It was Bubble last week, actually.
Okay, sorry. It's just Ender.
No, that's mean.
Corpse.
Maps.
Okay, let's go teleport. The word for this week is going to be teleport.
That's safe.
It happens when you let us just run with it.
Yeah, I should know better. So the keyword for the giveaway this week is going to be the word teleport, all one word. Make sure you key that in correctly. It does have to be spelled correctly, Teleport. And once you key that in, you'll be entered into the giveaway over our break. And when we come back, we'll be giving away your choice of one of two sets of dice. So we'll see you guys back here in about 10 minutes.
What?
And we're back. Thank you so much, everybody, for sticking through us through the break. We got a ton of awesome entries into the chat. So let's go ahead and run this giveaway and see who our winner is going to end up being. So we're going to go ahead and do this. We're going to make sure that none of these people have won. Jesse Shaw is ineligible, but everybody else is eligible. And roll it. Ness Stories, or NE Stories. Knee Stories, whatever you, however you pronounce that. Congratulations, you have won the giveaway, and you followed us like 2 months ago. So thanks for following us for so long.
It pays to play.
It does pay to play, and all you have to do is enter one word. How easy is that? Congrats, bud. So we do have 2 sets of dice. You'll be able to choose from these. We've got some awesome pink and like vanilla white, metallic white ones, and then the other ones are these awesome like aquamarine turquoise and purple with gold numbering. They both look really awesome, so you'll get your choice of those. We'll send you a message afterwards, get whichever set you want us to ship out to you, and then we'll get your address info and send those out as soon as we can.
Huzzah!
Huzzah! All right. So, diving right back in. As you guys are making your way out, having seen the horses, knowing that at least 10 of them, if not more, are in good nick, you're able to take those at your leisure. You end up starting to make your way out and around, and you said you were heading towards Amelior's tower, correct? Perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Record Pass Without Trace is still active, probably.
Yeah.
So I
I think
could
we're-
probably still be sneaky.
Yeah, I just realized the cameras are all in the wrong places. That's my fault.
Gotcha.
No.
All
Yeah, so you're
good.
still being sneaky?
Oh,
Yes,
Okay.
for sure, Z's.
So I'll go ahead and get you guys to both make
Big
stealth checks
sneaky.
again for me, please.
Okay,
And we're back in the right spots.
that's fine. We still have Pass Without Trace, right?
Correct. So plus 10.
Sick.
28.
22.
22. Okay. A little lower, but still very nice and high. Time is definitely starting to pass. You're starting to get into probably early evening at this point. Sun's starting to dip a little bit below the far mountains, but you do still have enough light that you're able to make your way out easily enough. And yeah, being relatively stealthy, looking around as best you can. Not a whisper on the wind. Everything is dead silent except for the occasional little braying of a horse from the distance that you came from.
Cool. Should we fly back over there, or should we get them over here?
Yeah, they're gonna have to come back here because we're all gonna have to grab horses anyways. So I think it's
That's
fine.
kind of my thinking.
Yeah.
Can we see them?
It's a little bit of a far distance. Like with an amplified voice, you might be able to shout out to them, but getting across the water would require you to get a boat. There are some rowboats that you have available to you, though, so it's kind of up to you however you want to try and get there.
We could just shout at him, Elethe. You want to shout at him?
Jordy.
Yeah.
Would Walk with Water still be active on them as well? Because has an
actually,
hour.
yeah, if it's less than an hour, it's still.
With the amount of time that they were gone, 10 minutes of flight time, walking in, grabbing everything, no, it would have worn off by this point.
They gotta run. Let's run on the water now.
I think that I'm trying to remember how are they farther than 60 feet from us?
Yeah, way farther. You'd be looking probably closer to like 300 feet.
Okay. Or actually, hang on.
Anyone have thaumaturgy? I know Hope does.
Oh, never mind.
Sending stone.
Oh shit, yeah!
Oh, we got a Rocky Talkie?
Yeah,
Oh.
Rocky Talkie.
Sending
I
stone.
keep forgetting about that shit.
Rocky Talkie, that's the best description of that thing.
Hey, Hope found one survivor. There's horses in the stable. Come meet us at the remains of the barracks. Hearts.
All right, so hope you would hear that message and have the ability to respond.
Thanks, Leif. Glad to hear there was a survivor. We'll be there soon. Les disappeared, but he's okay. Love and hugs.
Awesome. All right, so pretty straightforward, obviously with the nice extra little pieces at the end. So, Hope reiterating to the party.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. That message.
Do we want to leave the book with Amelior? Do we kind of decided we're cool with that? We'll grab it from him if we come back this way.
Meta of the staff, right?
Oh yeah. Shit, I forgot about that. Cool. Okay. Do we want to feeling ready to roll?
Yeah, I think there's not much else for us here.
Okay. I'll kind of go to the beach and start casting recasting water or ritual casting water walk.
Okay.
For our return journey.
Sounds good.
Can I try and like shout into the like water itself to try and get his attention because he's still in the water fishing?
Oh shit! Yeah.
Is that correct?
No, you were going through all of the remains. You took the half a cat.
Oh yeah, he's got half a cat with him. He's got
Okay.
Vendor.
Apologies.
All right. So you, so after the 10
Oh,
minutes
good.
passes, the four of you end up walking across the water and meeting up with the doctor and Elethe, who reveal themselves on the other side after hiding for a little bit, making sure nothing comes up and nothing seems to befall you. And again, back to the dead silence, just a little bit of sound of water lapping against the docks. Nothing really off in the distance, no sounds of any people of any kind. It's just a little disconcerting. Even in the amount of time that you had spent in the city beforehand, it wasn't bustling by any stretch, but there was the clanking of armor, the shouting of orders and commands, seeing people going about their day-to-day, and having this just be so utterly empty is very just soul-rending a little. Yeah.
I have a quick question. In the time it takes for the rest of the party to join us, do I have time to dash over to the inn and take some of the tea that the innkeeper made for us to give to Aluura and get back?
Not in that amount of time, no. It would be 10 minutes, and it would take you just 10 minutes to even get there.
How long? What time is it, rather, Jordy?
At this point, with them casting and walking across, you'd be looking probably closing in on 7 o'clock. PM.
Okay, so we'd probably want to turn in for the evening anyway. We might want to camp out in the inn.
Yeah. Sounds like a good plan. At least there'll be beds. We may still want to keep watch, but
All right. So everybody kind of pushing your way over back towards the dip in the center of the town.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so you wander inside. You've got access to the 7-stringed harp, and where you slept the previous night. Fairly close again to the other inn where you're able to get that lovely tea that you found, and that was the singing sprite. And you're able to make your way inside. There is a lot of the tea there. Obviously, a lot of the alcohol still available. Produce that's still relatively fresh. It's only been gone for the better part of a day and a half at this point. So you're able to make yourselves nice little fresh meals, find whatever beds, sleep in whatever rooms you like, and everybody just kind of tuck in for the evening.
Before that, I want to cast Find Familiar, bring Rick back,
Find familiar and bring it back. Okay. So
and give him some whiskey for his trouble.
sounds good. So the time passes for you to be able to cast the spell, and he pops back into existence, and you can see that when he lands, he just kind of like looks around a little bit, looks at you, and then just narrows his eyes and just turns his back and then crosses his arms.
Oh, hey, buddy, I got some of your favorite drink
Rick's
here.
getting sassy on us.
And he just kind of holds his arm out holds his hand out, and with the hand open, waiting for the mug, and then takes the mug and just kind of brings it in front of him and just starts drinking from it a little and just.
You know that shit hurts, right?
I know. We didn't know there was going to be a trap, Rick.
Yeah.
And he just starts drinking from the mug and gets pretty deep into it. All right. So with that, everybody turning in for the evening. Anything else anybody would like to do before you turn in?
I think we need to take watches
Yeah, that's probably.
and maybe everyone stay in beds that are kind of close to the main area, like no spreading out too far.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'll take first watch.
Leif, do you mind taking watch with me? I wanted to ask you about something.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. Or you want to take second watch?
Yeah, sounds good.
I mean, could we would it make sense that we could cross second and third watch and like have our conversation in that point? Or
Sure. They give it like a 10-minute conversation kind of thing.
that makes sense?
Then he won't get 6 hours of uninterrupted sleep.
Yeah.
He'll have to do third and fourth.
If it's like a 5-minute conversation,
That's kind of my vibe.
It's more so that like if it's something where it's going to be substantial, that like the two of you are doing together.
Both take both of them.
Yeah.
Disregard me.
It's all good. It's getting late.
Yep.
All right.
Cool.
So who's taking second?
I think me.
Okay, and then Elethe taking third.
Yeah.
Okay, and then who's on last?
I'll take last.
Dr. Aluura.
I'm good either way.
All right, Doctor will do it. Okay, first watch. Hope you're up. Go and make a perception check for me, please.
Okay. I have been rolling poorly today, and the 3 times I've rolled, I rolled 5.
5.
We're all dead.
We get jumped in the end.
We all died.
So you're kind of in the best possible position for you to be able to see what's going on. The center of the tavern. All the windows open, and you can look in any direction, but you're just kind of looking at the door. And 2 hours pass. Nobody comes in, nobody goes. You're a little bored, twiddling your thumbs by the end of it. Your watch passes without any issue.
All right.
So on from Hope, we come to Leif. Leif will do the same thing. Go ahead and roll a perception check.
All right. Hold that. Oh, nice. Yo, shouts out to D&D Beyond. That's a 19 plus 25.
Oh, yeah.
Holy cow, so that's a 43. Or 44.
Oh, sorry.
I know. It was a 25 total.
I was like, what?
Yeah, so 25. You kind of, in comparison to Hope, where they were sitting down in the center of the tavern and looking out of the doors, you kind of just sit in your room a little bit and look out one of the windows and mosey around and kind of get the lay of the land of what this place really looks like when there's nobody here. Make your way back behind the bar a little. Looking around, you find that there's actually a little bit of coin that seems to have been left behind. A couple of pieces that were just kind of randomly discarded. You end up finding that there's 17 silver pieces.
Cool. I'll probably leave it there. Just cause, like...
It's kind of like a little bit here, a little bit there. It looks like they were kind of just dropped coins in hurry.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'll probably. So someone probably forgot these. They'll come back and get them.
Okay. So you kind of just leave those as is, and otherwise your watch passes without any issue. And so you would wake Elethe, and the two of you would have your conversation.
All right, Elethe, it's your watch. You good?
Yeah, I'm awake. I had 4 hours.
Oh, fair.
I'm good. So hey, listen, Leif. You've been pretty open about your past this whole time, and I really appreciate that and respect that. And it's made me think a lot about the things that I want to accomplish and the things that have happened to me. And I have something that maybe you can help me with.
Yeah, for sure.
And I reach into like my pouch and pull out this like large golden signet ring. And it has this stone in it that looks black, but when the light hits it, it just sort of flashes this dark red. So it's not magical. I've had it checked. I think you've heard me say that my family is all dead, but it has something to do with what my mom was involved in my hometown in Shamath. She is part of a faction that wanted to split off from the main schools of magic there. And when I was pretty young, she was killed. It was part of what got me to train with me granny, and she was an amazing ranger. She had one of the main watch posts outside of Shamath, and she stayed there to make sure there was no one coming into the hidden entrance to the city near where she was. And so I kind of lived with her part-time, lived in the city part-time, trained with her. And one day I came and found her dead. And it looked like she was killed by the same things that killed my mother. Undead. She was an amazing fighter. She used 2 short swords. It's not my style, but she tried to teach me. I was much better with the bow. I'd watch her and she was like a whirlwind, a blaze. These 2 swords flashing light. And she wasn't super religious, but Leif is very popular amongst the drow, and she had these twin short swords that had 4 garnets on each hilt, like spider's eyes, 8 in total. And
That's pretty cool.
They looked a lot like the garnet on this ring. And when I found her, She was gone. There was nothing I could do. She was the only one who really gave a fuck about me, you know? Like...
Well, yeah. Kind of put a hand on Elethe's shoulder. Yeah, know how that...
Anyway, and like, when we were in Barovia, I kind of thought there was nothing I could do about it, and before Strahd got the Vistani to get me, I was sort of preparing to go it alone and try to do some kind of fucking suicide run, finding out who was behind their deaths. And since I've been back, I've been trying to sort of slowly extend some feelers, and I haven't really gotten much. But I was wondering if maybe you could scry on this and see who it belonged to. I found it in her hand, and she was there. I don't think whoever it was knew it was gone. It was sort of lying underneath her, and the way she was splayed, it looked like she like grabbed it off someone as she died, from what I could tell. And the footprints in there were totally obscured. There were so many of them, and there was tons of dead around her. Anyway,
yeah, I'll do this. Yeah, thank you for sharing that with me, Elethe. It you know, it's kind of scary opening something like this up, not really knowing what you're gonna find. So I'm happy to help.
I don't really want to. I'm not going to take off and pursue this right now. Like, I'm here. My head's in the game with your thing and your scar and your parents.
Appreciate it, but
I want to like start trying to find. I want to, you know, I'm a hunter. I want to lay my fucking traps. I want to nail this bastard to the fucking wall.
Yeah, no, that yeah, that's fair. Well, and I'll sort of kind of hand over my little like scrying kit and say, well, I'll get this set up right now. If you think it'll, you know, if you want to do this right now, I'm happy to try it out.
We just Meta Jordy, is it okay for you that we do this right now?
100%.
Okay, cool.
Oh, let's go. All right. So yeah, I'll set everything out for the scrying ritual.
Okay.
Do you have like a name or anything? Like any like general geographic location? I'm trying to think what kind of helps the DC here.
So I'll say from experience, you know that this is a person that you have heard of. So it's secondhand knowledge. You don't know who they are. You have an item that theoretically is of their possession. But scrying on an individual, you typically need to have some indication of who that person is. And this might give you enough, but you're not sure.
Okay, I'll get it.
One little more piece of information I could tell you. Maybe it will help, maybe it won't, but I'm pretty sure this person's a powerful magic user. I mean, they're probably a drow. My mother, she was involved in this faction that was sort of trying to undermine the, she was a shadow weave practitioner, and there was a conclave of leaders of different schools, and shadow weavers weren't part of it. So she was trying to undermine, and a lot of, I mean, in my culture, there's a lot of underhanded dealings, a lot of like climb your way to the fucking top and slit a throat as you go. And I'm pretty sure that someone who was caught up in this conclave was part of this, but I don't know exactly who. But maybe that will help.
Well, I might find out. I'll let you know. But you know, regardless of what happens here, we can keep this search going. I'm happy to help, Elethe. You've been a friend and true, real, compatriot throughout all this. I really appreciate it. It's the least I can do.
You know, thanks, Leif. I really, it's not easy for me to open myself up. I've been alone for a long time, and, you know, even my ma, we weren't really close. It was only my granny I ever really got along with, and you really mean a lot to me.
Kind of take Elethe's hand and kneel down and cast scrying.
Okay. So in casting scrying, You have second-hand knowledge of this individual, so it's a +5 to whatever they roll, attempting to beat your DC, but you have an item that theoretically was of their possession, which is a -4, so it ends up being a total of a +1 to what I roll. What is your spell save DC?
My spell save DC is... I should know this. There we go. Spell save DC is 18.
18. Okay, so it's a total of a +1 to whatever I roll, so I need to roll a 17 or higher on their wisdom saving throw, right?
Yeah.
That's a wisdom save?
Yes.
All right.
Man, the Braveheart music was playing in my headphones when you were explaining all that, and it was so goddamn epic.
Yes, Kaylee, that was so good.
So I'm hands off. I can take a picture of this if you guys would like me to show it to you. That was a natural 1.
All right, let's find out.
So
I'm so excited, you guys.
in focusing on the ring, you see the black crystal. You see the twinges of red as the firelight kind of catches it in the right angles, and your vision gets guided by your deity, and you find that your vision kind of goes inside the ring. You just have that oval focusing dead center, and it just kind of expands a little bit. And eventually you see yourself kind of navigating through the red and through the darkness, and you realize that you're not actually navigating through the ring itself, but you're navigating through a series of caves and tunnels underground. And you eventually find yourself coming upon a creature laying in a bed, and appears to be wearing darker garments of some kind. Blankets pulled up in a very, very surprisingly plain little room. You see a couple of notes on the side of a table that you're not quite able to make out the details on. You see a small desk. You see a small lamp that's unlit, and just an individual asleep in a bed. Appears to be a man. Longer elven ears, darker colored skin. And as the man rotates over and you get a proper look at the face, you see that there are a series of scars that appear to be scarification, either self-imposed or imposed by others. And rotating over one of those that, for you, having spent as much time as you have, especially traveling around, with Hope, you've seen some of the different factions that exist within Faerun. You've seen and heard of the Harpers. You've seen and heard of the Lord's Alliance, obviously working with them, the Order of the Gauntlet. And you've heard of, but haven't actually seen, of a specific group referred to as the Zentarum. But you know from having spoken to a couple of people from these different factions that the Zentarum have a specific banner that they fly under. And that banner is of essentially an inverted, looks like worm-like, not dragon per se, but essentially a worm with wings, flying directly down, chasing an orb. And you see that one of the scarification on the dead center of the chest, just above the clavicle, is of that same image. And some of the other scarification runes seem to be... you don't read Elven, do you?
I do.
Oh, you do? Okay. So you see that some of the runes that appear on the face appear to say truth, faith, honor, blood. And you focus on the figure for the better part of the 10-minute scrying ritual until eventually your image starts to pull back and you're led down that same long cavernous tunnel and eventually back outside the ring again.
Okay. Yeah. I saw someone, and I will basically dictate that description back fully.
Holy shit, I can't believe it worked.
Neither can I. I'll keep this between you and me.
I really appreciate that, Leif. I'll share. It's just takes me a while, but you're really easy to talk to, you know?
I appreciate that. That's the least I can do. Anyways, just be safe. Don't do anything without, maybe letting me or someone know.
I know you have good reason to say that, but I'm really working on the going off alone thing, so I promise I'll let.
That's fair. I mean, we're as a group stronger than any, individual. So I think, kind of do these things thanks to everyone. So we'll see. But yeah.
Now we have to research next time we go to the library too. We can get a little more info about this group. Actually, Jordy, sorry, do I know anything about this group or about the faction in Shamath that maybe represented them?
So the interesting thing actually is that the faction is not specifically dedicated towards Shamath. It's one that exists within Shamath, especially within Drow culture, but it's one more so that exists as the antithesis to what a normal faction is. Typically people join them because they're looking to be a part of an upstanding group of individuals, right? You're looking to secure the realm, make sure that individuals stay safe. You've got the Order of the Gauntlet being guards in the city of Baldur's Gate, the Lord's Alliance being the army in the north of Waterdeep and looking after some of the surrounding cities. The Harpers tend to be more on the wild side of things, essentially lone rangers that like to work in certain forests and maintain balance. The Zentarum is the opposite of that. They are the underhanded. They are the thieves' guilds. They are the individuals who have skirted the law to their own self-interest, and a lot of times end up becoming more ingrained in darker aspects, essentially leaving the Zentarum entirely or still maintaining fringe contacts to gain access to the resources that are there, but very much going off on their own to accomplish their own ends.
That's pretty interesting. Maybe Aluura knows something about them. She has some pretty good underworld connections. But anyway, you know what? You go to sleep, Leif. It's your turn.
That's yeah.
Thanks again for helping me. I really appreciate it.
More than happy to. Anytime. I'm just right over here, and kind of walk off. Do the little look over the shoulder, and then keep going.
I give him a little wave.
Leif can't see in the dark, so he just bumps into a wall and keeps going.
And they're just casting light on the tip of your finger and wandering through with your little flashlight.
Yeah, okay.
So,
okay.
Leif, you kind of take a minute and sit and start to digest some of that. And some of it falls in line with not what you were hoping, but kind of what you were expecting. But the introduction of the Zentarum especially is something that you really didn't expect. This was always seen to you as something religious, as something cultish related or self-serving for a very different reason. An individual such as this simply being a part of an underhanded group doesn't really make sense. So there's definitely a thread to be pulled at there, but
not today.
Not today. Yeah.
Thanks.
All right. So yeah, go ahead and roll a perception check for me.
That's gonna be 21.
21. So a little distracted, more so than usual, but still able to keep the standard watch that you would be able to do for your 2 hours. You don't particularly see anything coming around. No lights on the horizon. You kind of instinctively looking up towards the tower to make sure that Radek is still alive there. You don't see any firelight of any kind, but you would imagine that he's probably still up in his little perch. And eventually your 2 hours passes without issue.
Great.
All right. So you got to wake the doctor up?
Yep. Just give him a gentle, pat.
All right.
It's your turn.
So doctor, for the last 2 hours of the evening, sun starting to peek over the horizon. Go ahead and roll a perception check for me.
Out of my tray. There
Just
we
get
go.
shot out of nowhere.
That's a 17, Jordy.
17, okay. You slept relatively well. It's kind of surprising given the sleeps that you've had recently, where it's usually in bustling cities or different areas within towns. Being in something as dead silent as this is weird, especially for you. And you kind of wake up and you've had a decent sleep, a bit of a crick in your neck, but overall, you kind of spend your 2 hours wandering around, make yourself a little pot of tea, and start to prepare for the day as everybody starts to wake up and nothing seems to transpire.
Love it.
All right. So everybody starts to wake up for the morning, preparing any last pieces, gathering the belongings that you have with you. One thing I will mention here is because you had gone down to Undermountain and you hadn't gone back upstairs, you were missing a lot of your traveling equipment, so things like your tents. You would need to make sure that you go into that same shop that you were in before and grab any overnight equipment if you were planning on spending any overnight hauls.
Yeah, it's probably... Should do that, and then hit the dusty trail.
Hit the High Forest Trail.
All right. So you're also able to go into that same area, the other inn that was there. Excuse me. Oh my god. The Singing Sprite, and you're able to grab some of that tea if you would like to carry it with you as well. So we'll say that you've got enough for, we'll say 20 portions of that tea.
Cool.
Okay. So grabbing up the last couple of resources that you would require from within the shop of what remains, of course, you kind of instinctively look back along the road, kind of half hoping, half expecting to not see the Lord's Alliance thundering hooves starting to come there, make their way down. But you do eventually make your way back up towards the fort. Give the nod to Ravik to let him know that all of you are coming inside. And you have your pick of horses. You've got auburn, gray, white steeds, sort of different sizes. You're able to find the ones that best fit.
Yeah, I'm going to find a big one.
A couple of Clydesdales available as well, so those will be what you're looking at. So what I'll do is I'll get everybody except Hope to please make animal handling checks for me.
Cool. Oh, okay. Nice.
Can I just be like nuzzling up to Cinnamon whilst this is all happening? So they're trying to figure out these horses, and I'm just like cuddling into Cinnamon's neck, like.
Easy enough to do. All right, we'll go around. Let's start off with Leif.
18.
18. Okay. Leif.
26.
26. Aluura.
10.
10. Okay. Les.
13.
13. Doctor.
19.
19. Okay.
Clearly, you gotta use D&D Beyond.
Leif, Elethe, and the Doctor, no issues whatsoever. You're able to find a horse that very suitably matches you, find an appropriate bridle. Saddles are a little bit tough. Obviously, they have to be a bit more fitted to you. But you've at least got blankets that you're able to lay down and, within some respect. You have to have the stirrups that'll be to the right height and everything. And so you're eventually able to find something that will manage for the horses that are there. Aluura, unless you have a little bit of a tougher time, it might be a little bit awkward when you're on the trail a little and trying to rear them in. They might kind of have a mind of their own, but you're at least able to get them to the point where you're able to get on and seated comfortably and begin
More
to make the
accustomed
journey.
to seahorses anyway.
Is that a thing?
One day
Ride seahorses? They're quite small.
They're really
I'm
big.
the ones that I know, Fred.
I don't know what a seahorse is, but it sounds cool.
Would they be seahorses or horsies?
Oh,
God damn it, Jordy.
So
Les does strive to be the very best.
Dun, 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 dun.
So with that, pulling the horses out from within the stables, everybody saddling up, getting ready to make the journey heading north. You do look up instinctively, and you do see Ravik standing up on the tall tower, looking to be standing more solidly now. His leg definitely looking a lot more healed than it was before. And he gives you a customary nod and a bit of a standing salute as all of you start to head out and make your way north.
I'll summon my dancing lights and just sort of like blink them at him a couple of times before we go.
And you can see him instinctively smile. With your vision range, you're able to see him kind of crack a little bit of a smile, and then eventually sit back down and draw the bow one more time and make sure that if anything is coming, he's on guard for it. So with that, you're starting to make your way north, heading out from Secomber towards the high forest. You can see the trees far off in the distance, easily at least a solid 2 days travel away, and the couple of days getting there are uneventful. Nothing transpires. You run watches overnight, ensure that anything that would happen ends up being taken care of, but it's very quiet. You see this familiar river that was on your right, much further than you remember it being, because obviously you were kind of angling a little bit more towards that forest. That little grove, that wooden grove. But after a solid 2 days, you find yourselves on the outskirts of the high forest. Horses are able to be taken inside with you, or you can leave them outside tied up as you start to make your way through the forest. And that'll
Probably
did,
take them with us, right?
Yeah.
Would not be a bad idea. Kind of got attached to mine. What did y'all name yours?
Nettle.
That's a cool name.
I let Elethe call mine Eucalyptus. Thanks for the name, friend.
Yeah, you got it.
All right.
D.
So with the horses in tow, taking your first steps into the high forest, Leif, you especially starting to feel a little bit more at home than you have on these grasslands for a while.
It's kind of weird.
Les, did you say Steed or Steve?
Steve.
Okay.
Steve the Steed. And so with that, that'll be where we wrap up for this evening. With all of you guys making your way and setting your first couple of steps into the high forest, we'll be picking that up next week for the traversing of the woods. Oof. That was a good one, everybody.
That was a zinger. We spiced up at the end there. That was
You guys got a lot of stuff done.
got some
So
backstory.
Yeah.
I'll be honest,
Not where I
that
was
took us
expecting
together.
that to go, but I'm glad that I had prepped some of that stuff ahead of time.
Always.
Awesome. So thanks again, everybody in the chat. We appreciate you guys being here. Huge thanks to all the subs tonight. I think we got like 11 or 12 subs. Kel52, again, huge congratulations, or not congratulations, thank you to you, and congratulations to us for being awesome.
Congratulations for giving us stuff. Good for you.
Yeah. So huge thanks to everybody who subbed in tonight. We got a bunch of them. Kel52 gave us the 10. DJ Nerd Rage cheered us 230 bits. Thanks for that. Shattered Tabletop Games rated us. And then right at the last minute, _incog with the tier 1 sub. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah, appreciate you guys coming in.
Cool emojis with the subs, you guys.
Yeah, make sure you're using those Dicecream Nat 1, Nat 20, and the Dicecream Pride.
This guy. Wait, where are you? You're.
Yeah, he's right below you.
Right below? Okay.
Directly below, yeah.
Well, no, but like on the Twitch stream, it's different.
No, yeah, he's directly below you
Is
on the
it?
Twitch
Okay,
stream, too.
okay, so this guy made them.
Yeah.
Cool.
Beautiful. All right, so we'll wrap up here for the evening. Thank you so much, everybody. Enjoy our outro, and we will see you back here next week.
Bye.
Later, people. Wash your hands.
Goodbye.